So, looks like we're getting a late start here. Why has the music stopped? The music didn't stop. This is one of them. Let's give it a second. It has. I don't know what it is. I'm catching my own stream in the background. It's all confusing. Right, so we'll just wait for the players to join us, so we'll be a bit late, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, hope you like the flyby and the music. I'll probably get a copyright notice on that later, like I have for all the other times I've used music lately after paying for it. But anyway, I'm going to join the player chat now, and we'll get the game started shortly. Sorry, hang on. Nope, it's lost my own chat. Right, hopefully I can hear you guys again now. Hello?
Oh, you can hear us now?
He's checking.
Sorry, was people asking questions? I was playing around.
Yeah,
No,
we could hear you, and then but you were talking, and we're
yeah,
like
having sound. I was having sound fun and games with cross virtual wiring. But it's all sorted now. Ugh. All sorted. How is everybody?
All good.
Bit cooler today, so.
Aki's off attending family issues. And Wave's reactions. Aki has family? Who the hell knew?
Is he? Have I missed that? I'm terrible at spotting stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I got a couple that were, Donahue was in chat, so he should be along.
Yeah. I know Queeg may well be not with us today. That's absolutely fine.
He had something he's, doing this week. He mentioned it early in the week.
He did. He did indeed. I forgot. I have the memory of it. Well, actually, goldfish apparently have a very good memory, but yeah, I don't remember anything anymore. Sprawlrunners. So, anyway. Oh dear, interesting. Okay, where are we? So we don't have an Aki, so that's one less Benny. We don't have a Queeg, so that's one less Benny for me, that is. Combat tracker. Everything should be as it should be, and we'll just add them on and then take off the ones we don't need, which is basically Aki.
Merlin was here, but I think he must have had to go reboot because he's not now.
Yeah, he said he did say going to be a couple of minutes late. Aki shouldn't be on the map. Merlin, we'll put Merlin on a chair over there. Or Queeg's probably just sweeping up. We'll put the rest of you on your benches with the Guardian standing outside. So who is missing from the combat tracker? It's Pal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's because Donahue may or may not be here.
I'm here.
I thought you were.
I just had to use the restroom real quick first, that's all.
That's absolutely fine. Not a problem. Okay, now, I recall that I gave you an interesting... you were sort of hard last time for an interesting objective, and I think I was deliberately vague on names and stuff, but I don't know if I ever actually gave you the names of the people you were meant to extract.
Nope.
Which is reassuring, because that means I don't have to contradict myself. And I will endeavour to actually remember to make notes, because that will help in future. So, yeah, so basically speaking, you visited, I think you went to the Neon Bar and you visited a Mr. Patron who wanted to hire you to extract an elderly couple from a highly secure apartment block. And I think that you started discussions on possible ways to get them out and all that, and I think Mr. Donoghue was going to see if he could get hold of the plans, which I do believe he did. I know he did because I've got them.
Also, if I recall, these have the same implants as the young woman that we helped in like an early session. And so, knowing this, and we were told this up front, we might want to plan on having some medical professional, on standby in the van or whatever to deactivate those as quickly as possible.
Well,
Because
you'll have to get them to a right. So the blueprints appear to have. I've got the blueprint entry, but it appears to have nothing in it. That's worrying. That's not that one. Yes and no. I mean, you will probably have to secure a chop dock to deal with it, but you'll have to get them to him rather than the other way around, as it were.
so we're going to want to arrange somebody as close by as possible.
Indeed. I'm just trying to. Ah, there we go. Must have changed the name. Aha! Who have I got on? Oh, it's Merlin. I've got on the map who isn't here yet. That's fine. Okay, so that is the layout, including the security information for the apartment block. You should get some more information in a while about the actual names of the targets and where they are, but it is suggested that you probably do not want to try and get them out of the building.
Oh, we were considering setting up, some kind of ruse to take them out by ambulance or,
Indeed. So yeah,
some kind of emergency,
so
and then intercept.
yeah. So you probably want to you'll probably need to do some ground pounding and footwork and stuff to sort of think, get as much information as you can, as it were. So to come up with a cunning plan, and then I get to build stuff on the fly to cope with whatever you come up with. This is the apartment map. Basically, all the floors of the apartments have the same security layouts, and this is just one of the floors. It will happen to be the right floor. You do have a legend down the bottom there, which will show you where they've got magnetic. They've got motion sensors, olfactory sensors, and all sorts of stuff. So you come to.
I'm not seeing the key, but
it's down there on the lower right hand side. It's quite a big map. I did try rescaling it, but it went horribly wrong, so I had to leave it at its stupidly big size.
oh, there's the key. It's at the top left.
Top left.
Yeah, all it says doors, windows, and walls.
No, there should be a security set. Oh, hang on. I bet you I know what it is. Stupid me. Sorry, there you go. The security overlay was missing, wasn't it?
There it is.
Sorry about that. I forget you can have the GM can see it, but players can't. Option, and for some reason I must have left that on. That's actually security.
So every window, every entry, and every common area is loaded with security.
Indeed. Hence the suggestion that you really need to nab them outside, get them outside of the building rather than trying to get into the building. As you can see, it's very secure.
What can you guys find out through the computer system as to how they handle deliveries here? Would they let a courier go directly to an apartment after passing a security screen? Or do they insist on it being left at the main entry and they deliver it themselves?
I would probably say it's going to be the second one, but I'll leave that. Not.
Well, that's one of the things we need,
Oh, pardon me. Unfortunately, yes, your fears are correct. Basically, all deliveries are handed over to security at the ground floor, where they are thoroughly bioscanned, electronically scanned, and everything else, and then their own internal security vetted delivery staff take them up to the apartment blocks.
Okay, what can we find about the ventilation system? Is each apartment on a separate ventilation system, or
It's a shared ventilation system for the entire building, I would say. With probably security cut-offs and laser grids. So the fact that if something if the intent, they will be the ability to shut down the air system in the event of contamination or anything like that. However, something Donahue did pick up on that was on the research is, again, although you can't physically get in, you won't get into the building. You do find that all food and meals provided to the guests, because they're all secure guests, are handled by a third party company, Mrs. Miggins Food Supplies.
okay, what can we find out about that? I mean, do they deliver like prepared meals and like in a hotel, you call down and order what you want, and so a specific meal is going to a specific resident.
Well, indeed, yes.
They just deliver general groceries, and we're either way. I'm trying to find a way to introduce some biogenetic, like virus or something that will make them sick enough to have to be hauled out of there, but not kill them.
Immediately.
And if we can't do it through the air system, and I can't get in there with the delivery, and I can't risk a delivery, leaving it with them, and them, doing such a thorough check that they find it beforehand, because then that alerts them to the fact that somebody's targeted this couple. The third option would be through food.
I'm gonna say yes. Probably gonna have to do food and do a binary poison or something.
Yeah, something like that.
If you knew where the internal port was, i.e. to jack it, you can't jack it in from the outside. If you can jack in from the inside, get into the network, great. I just need to know where the port is, and then what we could do is come back later and then teleport Donahue inside.
And once you get Donahue inside, how does he get past the sound detectors, olfactory sensors, motion sensors, wave detectors, and
Well,
magnetic anomaly
That
detectors?
that's the thing. They're not in every room. There's holes in it. A few places.
And unless we decide to go with just buying like a
See what you can find out about. See what you can
and
find out about this food company and how meals are managed, whether they're delivering individual even if they're ordering groceries specifically for that unit, to identify when the next order is going out for this apartment, and then how secure is that facility? Can we get in there and contaminate it, like you said, poison in his antidote or something? But if they haul them out by ambulance, when we start monitoring, we know when the ambulance is going. Our best chance is to get a drop on an ambulance and rather try to get in there.
yeah, I mean that's what they were suggesting. That's why I'm saying we either need to poison them, not be immediately lethal, still lethal enough that they got to take them to something else.
Yeah. So, so basically, Mrs. Miggins Food Supplies is apparently seems to have the corporate contract to deliver to all of Arasaki's secure apartment blocks in big city. Basically, apparently, what happens is they provide set meals and basically set meal menu rotations, and every meal, the meals are all packaged up, pre-prepared and everything, delivered to each apartment, however many meals per person per apartment, and they're all security tagged and ID'd. So in theory, you can potentially
Poison one person.
Yes. However, obviously, the fun and games you might have with that, of course, is if you just poison one person, then that might set off warnings.
Well, here's what we need to do. We need to go in there, and not just one person. We need to get both couples out, so both members of the couple out. So we need to get them both so sick without making everybody else in the block so sick. So we need to be able to take one set of
Well, no,
something
that's
like,
what he was just saying, is we need to make the whole block sick.
yeah, but we need to make sure these two get a specifically virulent dose,
Exactly, yes.
as opposed to everybody else just getting a mild case of food poisoning. For whatever reason, these two get really so sick they have to be transported to a medical facility.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. So you will probably need to, again, you'll need to sort out how you're going to do that bit. But yes, that's the point I was trying to get at, which I'm glad you picked up on, is you've got to make a lot of people, you've got to make it look like the problem came with all the food was contaminated, but at the same time, you need to be able to control,
them getting a serious dose.
Yes.
So what we need to do, first of all, is I'm thinking a particular, just general, food poisoning, a mild version, but that for this couple, we need to be able to separately identify theirs and hit that with a dose that's particularly toxic.
Well, the only problem I see is we're going to have to getting this disease poison, because I don't think any of it chemists.
Aye, definitely all the building, all the outer offices are all unsecured, every one of them.
So is that going to be a heist, or can we just use logistic points?
Well, we could go back to the patron guy and ask him tell him we have a plan, but we need this, because we're still going to have to. We're going to still, because first thing is he just told us to do it. We come up with a plan, but we need this much assistance. Everything else, like we're going to have to break into the food facility.
Again, don't forget that to a degree, maybe that is what you can use logistic points for as well. You can potentially, you can spend logistic points to find someone who can get you what you need, if that makes sense.
No, that's why I was asking whether it was. Yes. Is this going to be something we need to steal, or is this something we can buy?
Oh yeah, sorry, it'd be something you could. Yeah, it's basically with at a cost of logistic points, you can, you will be able to basically. You'll have to do some you'll have to work out where you can get it, and then obviously there'll be a logistic point cost in acquiring what you need. But that's all about it, really. Yeah. So yeah, so
just like a networking role.
Yeah, basically it's some networking to find out who you need to talk to, and then basically, there'll be a logistic cost to provide the chemicals you need to add, I would say.
So I can use my streetwise,
which is persuasion these days, isn't it? But if you have the streetwise edge as well, that gives you a +2 bonus.
Yes, I have. That's what I mean is the streetwise edge.
Yeah, no. It's just because streetwise used to be a skill, and it does still confuse me sometimes.
Do you know what? I would just go and poison some random person, sit back and watch the show.
I have to be honest. Actually, I totally get why they got rid of Streetwise and changed it into Persuasion or Intimidation. But in some ways, Streetwise was a nice, easy skill to have. But I do think it makes more sense the way they do that now. Okay, so what I will say is you will, as long as you succeed, you will find someone. But depending on the level of success, will depend on how much it will cost you, as it were. So what I'm trying to say is, are you happy with a find? Which means you'll find someone who's perfectly good. It will definitely work, but it will have a higher LP cost than if you find someone. You know what I mean?
You know what? I will try a Benny on that one.
Because on a really good roll, what
there
happened?
we go.
There you go. On a really good roll like that, for example, you see more raises. What I'm trying to say is that you'll be able to ask around a lot, and you'll get directed to someone who's very trustworthy, and therefore you don't have to bribe so many people to get to him, as it were, and everything else. So that will basically, for 2 logistic points, you will get access to some food additives that are being added, can be added, and you'll get basically two sets, if that makes sense. A very small amount of a concentrated version that will appear perfectly. In both cases, it'll appear to be food poison, but probably botulism or something like that. But in one case, it will basically be much more virulent and will require hospitalisation on the people who take it. But even then, it will just appear that they need hospitalisation. If there's any problems or delays or anything, it's just, you know what I mean, it will break itself down inside the system, and therefore, because you've got the really good raise, and therefore there are long-term side effects to the point where you don't actually even need to take them to go to hospital, but for all diagnostic purposes they'll appear to do, which on your other roll they still would have needed medical attention. And the other batch, which will just make people very ill, but it will sort itself out. And that will cost you 2 logistic points from your entire pool of. You've probably got quite a bit nowadays, haven't you? For this run, you should have about. You get I forgot what you start at 5. You should all have 15, 16 logistic points, unless you're rich, in which case you'll have more. Is my gut feeling on how many LP you should have now. So.
Well, I keep a running tally on mine. I've got 3.5 left available to spend that.
Yeah.
I'm already committed somewhere else.
So basically, for getting actually, it's because I want to make sure. Yeah, 2 raises. I thought it was. I couldn't add up today. For getting 2 additional raises, you've reduced the cost from 6 logistic points down to 2 logistic points because you managed to get hold of a guy who is rather well trusted. You needed less bribes. The actual chemicals cost more, but because you didn't have to bribe so many people to keep it quiet, look, the net result is it's cheaper. And the added advantage is with your networking role, the chemical is actually quite benign. It just triggers off medical alarms and sensors and doesn't even need any actual medical treatment. They'll just feel really crap. So that's got that sorted. All you need to do really is introduce it to the food, and on whichever day you decide to go. Basically all you need to do is let him know a day before you need to go ahead, and he'll get it arranged and for delivery. To pick up from a secure location, and you can pick it up, and it's good for 24 hours.
Okay, then the next thing we need is for our hackers to get in there and get the layout and stuff on this food company. So we don't, we got to go in and contaminate the food. I mean,
don't we need a Ripper dock or something like that?
Yep, you did sort out a Ripper dock as well. You also probably thinking about this one. Think about it logically speaking. If you are going to basically pick him up off an ambulance, you may well need some. You probably need some fast vehicles and possibly some additional drone support to give you, to help you. But
what do you know? There's going to be an ambulance.
Pardon?
How do you know there's going to be an ambulance?
Because that's what you're
going
to.
What time does it arrive?
Well, that's the whole point.
Once we've introduced the poison, then we're going to have to monitor.
Going to have to what happens next.
Yeah, but you'll know which meal. You'll know whether you've infected the breakfast, the lunch, or the dinner, won't you? So you'll know.
Or why don't we just poison some random person and sit back and watch the show and a week later do the job? A dry run, and then you know how long it takes and what they do and how many people they call and when the ambulance arrives and what the procedure is and how many gambles come up.
We
You
are
just
on a
sit
bit
back
of
and
a
watch
time
them on the
crunch.
camera.
Is the only problem.
Well, I suppose the question would be, what are we going to do about the? Are we going to send our own ambulance, or are we going to attack the next?
I think we're going to have to hijack whatever ambulance they send. Roadblock it and pull them out. Knock out the ambulance crew and pull them out of the ambulance.
Or you could just take over the ambulance, of course. Knock out its
Yeah,
GPS.
hijack the ambulance.
Yeah, so basically what you've got to do, basically the way it works is you've been given enough general information to make a plan, and then you're going to present it to Mr. Patron in a couple of days' time, and then he will basically give you the actual names of the couples and which address the actual apartment is. You don't even have any of that yet because they're definitely a bit paranoid and cagey. So yeah, you've got to give him a plan that he's satisfied will work before he's going to provide you the key information, like which of the 8 Arasaki secure apartments he's in, the couple are in, and things like that. So you've got to have the plan in place. You know that the Arasaki secure apartments are all in a sort of downtown area, so it doesn't. You can plan you've got a general idea of where you are, but the actual and the main routes in and out, and the hospital that they will go to because of these secure apartments. What you haven't been given is the name of the people who you need to poison, as it were, and which apartment block of the 8.
Well, we need to get into the food thing. We need to be able to get in there to do the poisoning. We already have access to the poison.
Indeed.
I'm assuming I'll have some of that information about getting into. Would have gotten that as part of the investigation into him already.
Sorry.
So
Sorry. Investigation into what bit? Sorry.
When we were investigating that Mama whatever's does the, I'm assuming I got at least some information about, or was that all about just how they're doing their process handling the?
Oh, you're cutting out every other word. It's making it very interesting trying to guess what you're getting. Well, yeah, basically you got information on the company. What you've got so far is they've got the contract and they provide the stuff. You've also worked out the location of the factory. Well, you've been able to get hold of the location of the factory. From what you understand, other than some offices on the premises, which are probably double up as which one of them basically one of them is a security office, one seems to be a manager's office. The entire facility appears to be automated.
Okay, so we can pretty much just hack. Am I coming through better now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming we can just pretty much, if it's largely automated, we can just hack it, go in, contaminate, a bunch of things, a bunch of the meals, and we're good to go.
That's the plan. Yes.
Okay, so the only thing left is to figure out whether we're going to hijack an ambulance before or after they pick up the people.
Again, you will probably, I would say, you need to do it after, because it is going to be an Arasaki ambulance that turns up with known Arasaki staff. So you're going to have to wait till it leaves. You're going to have to nab the ambulance en route to the hospital, basically.
Do we know if they use flying or regular ones?
Depends on it. I'm going to say, for argument's sake, they're going to be ground-based ambulances. These aren't VIPs. These are
flying ones. Would have been very bad. All right. I guess we'll need to acquire. I don't think we have anyone who operates drones, do we? I mean, not
Yeah,
here
that's what
today,
I
at
do.
least.
That's what Beulah does.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was about time
I
I
thought
actually
that
gave him
was
the
Aki
chance
for
to do
some
some
reason.
drones.
Yeah, and he does have it does have a recon drone currently.
That's marvelous stuff, isn't it? Okay, that should do that. Have fun with that, I think. Oops.
Well, this has changed completely. This is a road heist, really.
What have we done? Oh, that's useful to know. Okay. So, is there anything? And so basically, you got Mrs. Biggins Food Factory. So you're just going to have to get in there securely on the whenever you need, whenever the plan is a go. You've got your plan there. Is there any other bits or plans or questions or anything you want to sort out?
We need to make sure.
Sorry, they're going to send him to the nearest hospital.
They will send them to again. It's all about approval stuff. So the hospital is Arasaki will have a contract with a specific hospital for these specific patients, and that's what you would have found out as part of your research when you did on the building. You got a list of all the approved suppliers and companies. That's how you found out Mrs. Biggins Food Factory.
So I want to path out the routes that they would likely take between that tower and that hospital.
Yeah.
And then part of our pre-work, I'll infiltrate some of the traffic control systems so that I can cause snarls to either trap them or force them onto a specific route where we can ambush them.
You're going to do
What
an
would
Italian
happen-
job.
What would happen if we had the ambulance and we just took those two people?
Because Arasaki is so security conscious that everybody who the reason they use a specific hospital is they've already done the security checks and cleared everybody there. The same way with any ambulance, those drivers would have been pre approved security, at a security level that they can be trusted. So to just come in, you can't just go in there with any ambulance. They're going to know and they're going to check. Unless
So when we stop the ambulance, I take it we have to take them. We stop the ambulance. We have to take them out of the ambulance. Presumably, stick them in a Faraday coffin, and then before we get in a getaway vehicle, and before we go, I don't know if they're actually got they're actually implanted with anything.
No, we're gonna have to have a vehicle to transfer them to, and it's gonna need to have a jammer or a Faraday cage or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, we have the van. Can we trick out the van because we don't. Some of us will travel in the van. Waif never travels in the van unless it's absolutely essential. She would be shadowing on her scooter.
Well, that's absolutely fine.
Or Pow Pow hates travelling in the van, but he normally goes in the van. Although he absolutely tests it.
Yep.
Simply because he doesn't want to be left alone.
All this anti-van stuff personally.
I just don't want to be left alone. I want somebody watching me all the time.
Fudge. That would be the case, wouldn't it? I just deleted the wrong bloody line. Sorry, I'm just letting you plan while I'm having some fun over here trying to. I'm gonna give up on I'm gonna give up on this idea. It's a very nice scrolling map, but if there are times where I really wish you could do scrolly things, that will suffice. Just have the one, maybe two, maybe two. I wonder how do you rotate in this? You do it like that, don't you? There we go. Well, then it really doesn't line up. They're off center. Interesting. So, what's your plans, individuals? You've got your cunning plan in place, ready to roll and roll?
Absolutely.
We're going
Yeah, I
to.
think-
Can you guys repeat it from? Okay, so we wake up tomorrow.
So our plan is as preparative steps. I'm going to hack some of the traffic control systems that they'll on the routes they'll likely take between Arasaki Tower and the hospital, so we
Okay.
can control their route. We're going to get a vehicle that we can just dump. We'll prep it up with either a jammer or a Faraday cage so that we don't have to worry about them being tracked immediately.
Sorry, ignore that.
We are going. We've got the chemicals already set up for basically getting the whole floor sick, or a couple of floors sick, but getting them particularly sick.
You need to get them to a chop dock within generally those implants. Give them 30 minutes. If they aren't where they're supposed to be in 30 minutes, they're going to die anyway. So we've got to get them into our vehicle. And the minute they lose contact, that 30 minutes is going to come into play. We need to get them to a chop dock, get those things deactivated before we can do a rendezvous and hand them off.
We're going to get a EMP grenade or two so that we can disable the ambulance's communications. I'm going to hopefully try and fake it to buy us a little bit more time while we're on site. And as far as preparation, and then we'll go in, slip into that food place.
That's the actual job. That's the actual job, is breaking up the food place.
That's the actual, yeah, this is going to be the actual
poison the order.
job. And then we will find the lots of food, poison them all, and the day before. After that, it's going to be, we'll get them to a chop dock. I think that guy's providing or something. And
No, that'll be something you'll want to find. You'll want to have one ready before you present.
Oh, okay. So we need to find our own chop dock. All right. I don't think anyone is one in our group, are they?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I will make another streetwise check.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, you find one. Again, it's all down to cost. It costs 5 logistic points. He'll charge you.
You said 5?
Fortune.
Well, he's got to neutralize the tracking device in the Cortex bombs, and then he's got to disarm them before they go off. And it's highly illegal according to corporate law. So obviously, there's an extra bit charged there as well.
Poison food.
One, 2.
Sure, I had some.
2, 3.
Sure, I bought. I could have bought. I could have sworn I bought some tokens, but obviously I didn't. I thought I had some Cyberpunk vehicle tokens. I can't find them. Oh well, not to worry.
So you have to move them twice,
2.
unfortunately.
I have a
Yeah, so we have to get from where the ambulance gets hijacked.
I got 4 logistic points I can throw in for getting this done. Right now we need 7, not including the vehicle, I guess.
I've got 3 that I can throw in.
I can throw in 2.
That's 9. That gets us over that. Do we have the vehicle already paid for?
Yes, we do. We have a van.
Okay.
It's easier to trick out our van than acquire yet another vehicle.
Can we get it
Aye,
jammed or
I can
Faraday
fish you
cage for
another.
2?
I can fish you up another point.
Well, I'm assuming we were borrowing someone's van since we're gonna ditch it.
Normally you do, yeah. But obviously the point is, if someone's already, what I'm trying to say, if I think you've already got one in the past. But the idea is you've already invested money in a van for the job. Is the easiest way to say that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
What I'm saying is, can we get a jammer or a Faraday cage for the 2 resource points, 2 logistic points? Or is that already included in the cost of the van?
You could. Well, that's a good question. What have we got in terms of gear? I don't know. Can you get one? Let's turn it round the other way.
Sorry, what was that?
I don't know. Can you get a van? Let's turn it round the other way. I was thinking. So you might have to see if you can get hold of one for 2. Yeah, a success will get you a networking success will get you a jamming equipment, and it will only cost you 2 logistic points. I think that's the way to do it. You can obviously get other people to help, of course. Actually, a success will get you 1 for 3. If you want it for 2, you'll need a raise.
I'll chuck it in a support room. I'm going to ask the street gangsters to run about with if they can help us boost our van.
Okay, that gives you a +1 bonus. Didn't mean to do that. Anyone else want to do an assist
Can I
on trying to
roll
track down?
Roll intimidation instead of persuasion.
You can go around busting heads trying to find out who you want to talk to. Of course, it does cause some resentment in the background going that way. It won't affect this role, but it may affect other people's opinions of you in the future. Yes. Brilliant. Okay, that's a +1 +2. I mean, by all means, you could. Yeah, obviously, Beulah. Yeah, I mean, I say you bust heads. It's just like you make. There may be some role playing implications later on. Is all I mean. It's nothing major in that regard. But you got a +2 bonus so far.
We're going to have to meet these people twice.
Yeah. Beulah goes off and talks to some people. It's +3 bonus. +3 bonus to your networking, as obviously the others go out and sort of drum up word on the street and basically get leads on who you should talk to, Donahue. So based on the leads you're given, you get a +3 bonus, which means after you get a lovely look at that. You basically you are able to secure some jamming equipment for 2 logistic points.
Okay. Is that internal only, or would I be able to use that in substitution to jam that ambulance?
The ambulance will have a dedicated GPS system on board. All you'll need to do is hack into the ambulance and disable it.
Or you could just be really dirty about it. Just connect it. If they've got an antenna or anything like that, just connect it to a car battery. Good luck sending the message.
Okay.
I am definitely convinced I had something. Please. Obviously, I'm just letting you plan stuff. So keep planning stuff, and when you're happy with the plan, then we can see where it leads us.
Aye, so when you break into the ambulance, you take the people out, you put them in the Faraday cage, and then you can only drive for 20 minutes maybe because you need 10 minutes to do the operation to get the thing out, and then the security forces know that you're only 20 minutes away from where you hijacked it, so they will start searching every bill in a 20-minute radius. So
Exactly.
Once you've got it out, you've got to get everybody back in the van and take them somewhere else.
Indeed, I was going to say, yes, and that's the fun and games with that was half the fun and games you would have had with the high cost of the street dog, because he knows that he'll be investigated sooner or later because he'll be in the zone. So that's why he charges so much. But you're absolutely correct. You're fine on that score. Let's buy these, even though I thought I already owned them.
All right, so let's do this.
Okay, so you head back to Club Neon and present your plan to Mr. Patron, as he insists on calling himself, and he is very satisfied with everything you've the level of planning you've gone into, and the fact you've sort of resolved everything on your own. And he basically he makes some secure communication to somewhere, you're not sure where, and he gets approval, and he hands over a data chip. He then promptly goes back outside and gets into his vehicle, his limousine, and that flies off.
Okay.
So you are right. You've got the information. So basically, it identifies that they're being held in secure accommodation 6. They do give them nice names like the Happy Sunshine Tower Block or something, but for all intents and purposes, everyone just calls it secure accommodation 6. And you are there to pick up a Mr. and Mrs. Trenchard. They're on the 35th floor. In apartment 3501, which would put it, when if I can remember where I put the apartment blueprint, not that you're planning too much on going in, would actually put them in.
What we needed was their name and their specific apartment to make sure we contaminate the right.
So basically, apartment number 1 is well, if you're looking at the Arasaki blueprint, it's the one with the arrow on it, but basically it's the first it's the third from the right on the southern end of the map as you're looking at it. So that goes to number 1, and the apartments go all the way around. But yeah, yep, exactly right. Yeah, so you've got your you know exactly, the floor, the address. So all you got to do now is decide when you want to go. As I say, obviously.
Just one silly question: Are they in on this? Do they want to be rescued? Do they not want to be rescued?
Does it really matter for us?
And the bottom line is that they're going to be so sick when we grab them, and that by the time I mean, resistance on their part is the least of our problems, because they're already going to be sick when we grab them. They're not going to be
the only stipulation you've got is they've got to be alive and able to communicate when you deliver them. That's the only stipulation to the condition you're given.
Is there any advantage to getting in contact with them,
though? There's more risk
than free alerting security. No.
And again, once they're in the ambulance, they're going to be so sick. They're going to be unconscious. They won't transport them to the point where they're convinced that these people are dying. So our presumption is when we first make contact, they're going to be unconscious anyway.
And the honest fact of the matter is they're already hostages. So all that's going to change is one company's hostages is going to move to another company's hostages.
Exactly. It's quite a cynical. It's quite a cynical life there. That it's quite cynical in the end. That you're freeing them from one company to put them in the care of another company. Yes.
So we're going to poison everybody in the building.
We have two sets of poison. One to contaminate the food supply for the whole building. That's fairly mild. It'll make people sick, nauseous, diarrhea for a couple of days, whatever. But it's not. But these two are going to get a dose that
will read as lethal, but not be.
Exactly.
Right, but how do you know they get that dose?
That's why
we're put it in the plate that's tagged for them.
Their meals are made up in individual, kind of like Meals on Wheels here. And so we identify theirs, contaminate theirs, and then just general contamination for everything else.
If it's written down at the catering company, if they've got a specific dietary requirement or if they've requested a particular meal, you could identify it.
Well, that's one of the things he checked when he was researching on this company. We know that the meals are individually, portioned and prepackaged. And as long as we know which one is being delivered to which apartment, all we needed was the name and apartment number to get it to them, to target
Be
them.
able to pick out which one we need to contaminate. Yeah.
All good stuff. So I'm just sorting out stuff behind the scenes. So please, obviously, I want you guys to be happy that everything's there. And any questions, I'm here to answer. But at the same time, I'm desperately prepping stuff in the background. So
Yes.
right.
Who said you don't ever do any planning before a job?
Well, that was the whole point. For once, I thought, let's do it properly. Let's give you, you know what I mean. I'll let you guys do a full proper, give you a scenario and you guys come up with how to do it rather than me saying, right, you're going to go do this and off you go. That was the whole idea. I thought, let's do it properly.
I was just thinking it through. I mean, like me sending a message get a message through a 36-story window is a child's play, absolute child's play.
The risk, though, is we don't really, we don't want to alert anybody on the
Oh,
inside.
no, that. I know that.
We don't know enough about them to know that they wouldn't, if they were contacted, that they wouldn't, go to Arasaki themselves and, ask for additional protection.
Agree.
Because, like you said, we don't know
I've
that.
got the plan. I've got the plan. I've got the plan written down as well, and it's quite sound. I'm just doing the if, buts, and maybes.
Well, if they're unconscious when we take them, we don't care whether they want to go or not. We can't risk them
Right.
not wanting to go and alerting them in ahead of time.
Right, so long as there's no chance that people in the ambulance turned out to be two random people rather than not specific targets.
Well, the people in the ambulance are going to be pre-screened ambulance personnel.
No, I meant the patients in the back.
He wants to make sure we're grabbing the right people.
Well, they're the
You could
only
do it
two that are
sideways
going to
and
be
they're
the
not.
kind of dose that would require a trip to the hospital.
Yeah, you'd need me to be incredibly evil if I happened to have two ambulances turn up at the same time. That would just be cruel. And I have to be honest, I hadn't thought of that. That's a very good complication, but don't worry.
Hypochondriac, you give him diarrhea and he's like, "Are you going to phone an ambulance because I'm dying?"
That isn't how it works, because obviously there is again, Arasaki company, it has to pay for the care and well-being of these individuals. Obviously they are hostages to keep employees in line, but the point is they will not, a hypochondriac would not necessarily get an ambulance unless he's really made himself sick, if that makes sense. And there's a very cynical thing as well. There will be grades of actually, in fact, that's something you might want to check out. There'll be grades of medical care from platinum down to standard, if that makes sense.
That's pretty much standards are Band-Aid.
Yeah. So basically,
platinum's a helicopter.
That will also decide. That will also give you an indication of how. Sorry, it's only just occurred to me. I forgot to mention that earlier, so I apologise for that. It wouldn't really affect how you do your plan. It just might. It just depends on how interesting it might be later.
We're assuming and WAIF is operating that Arasaki is so elite and these blocks are so secure. Each block has an in-house clinic for routine medical. I've got a cold, I've got this or
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
Where they don't have to leave the facility or bring somebody in from outside. Only severe cases that warrant hospitalization would get taken to the hospital and they would be sent for specific cases. Anything else is going to be on the presumption that they've got an in-house nurse and clinic to deal with routine crap, so that people can't, because first of all they'd have to screen them first anyway, so people aren't coming to them with some faked up illness. The nurse would be the first line of defense for Arasaki, that somebody isn't trying to fake an illness to get to the hospital and crap.
Get out of the building.
Yes, exactly.
So we just have to make hope. We just have to. That's one of the things we're just gonna have to cross our fingers and hope that things don't go too sideways.
You know, no plan survives first contact with him. But this is the best plan we can come up with. We don't have a better alternative. We've got the means.
There we go.
Can something go wrong? Well, the ambulance could, get caught in traffic and or run into an accident on the way to get them and blow up. Then they'd have to send another ambulance. But there'd be, I mean, anything can happen. We go with the plan and
We've got a plan that's not overly specific, so should be functional and has enough space that we can adapt if something comes up. I guess my only real question is: are we doing this as a dramatic task, or are we gonna?
Oh, we're going the whole hog. One. You'll be going in.
Well, the first half of the task is getting into the food facility and contaminating the food. That's
Indeed.
Think of it as phases. Phase 1 is getting into the facility and administering the contamination. Phase 2 is monitoring for the alert to go out and the call for an ambulance.
No,
And
Talking about
phase
phase, I don't know, phase
Already
plan.
phase
I
one of
thought
the planning.
about half a year ago. I never did that. I don't understand that.
Phase 2 is going to be doing the prep, like infiltrating the setting up the van and hacking the street signs and stuff like that.
Very much so.
So do I need to make a hacking roll for doing that?
Well, you'll need to do yes, but you'll be doing that when you decide it's time to roll, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because there's going to be a delay between us contaminating the food, them getting the food to them, and ingesting enough to make them sick. So my presumption is as soon as we can successfully contaminate the food, then the next phase would be setting up the escape, so that we're monitoring for the ambulance and you're, mapping out the route and et cetera. And then the third phase is actual intercept and get to the.
Oops.
Well, we've got the chemicals ready to go, so I guess if we're gonna
Might as well. No
plant
time
them
like the
first,
present.
if we're planting them first rather than doing like prepping the van so it's ready to go and hacking the
Well,
street signs.
Well, I thought we had already done, when we did all the research and stuff, that was an ongoing thing as part of the planning. Now we have the van, and we're assuming that we've spent the LPs.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm assuming you've done all that. It's just basically you don't want to do the hacking of the. You don't want to hack the security systems and anything till the day you're ready to go, because the last thing you want to do is have anyone discover that you've done it. If that makes sense.
And we gotta succeed in phase 1, contaminating the food before we can even start on the next phase. Because if we fail to contaminate the food, we're back to square one.
We'll pick a convenient day to do this, and then we'll go get the chemicals and head that night to get it so that so that we can contaminate the food for the next day.
Sounds good. Oops, I'm just going to. I'm sorry. I'm just. I was just trying to dip the line of sight in. I might not bother.
And as far as contaminated for it's going to have to be it's going to have to be the specific meal, isn't it?
Okay, so I'm just going to go one.
So it's going to be made already.
One of those. I'm going to go.
Yeah, we're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit them before they're after they've been made, but before they're being shipped out.
Aye, you've got to do it. You got to do it after they've been made before the meal. You identify the right meal before they ship them.
Bugger.
What we're gonna do going in at night. Anything that's supposed to be delivered the next day would probably be prepared the day before and put in the refrigerator.
Stuck in a freezer.
And put in the refrigerated storage or a freezer overnight, and then delivered. The deliveries would go out first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
That's correct. Yep.
So we need to get into the facility at night, get the next day's supply, contaminated. And we don't know. They might do 2 or 3 days at a time, but we got to go in the night before the next delivery because then the food is prepped and ready to go.
Yep.
And identified, probably labeled, by apartment or, if it's a special
Hard
diet
copy.
ID.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Practically now I'm just doing some line of sight stuff, so it won't be.
Well, I'm going to take a quick bio break while you're doing the line of sight.
I was sorting out the ambulance, and I've just decided.
So, it's just we was on about hacking the traffic. So this is like it's like Italian job. So he's the ambulance gets green. Everybody gets green lights because it causes crashes. And then all the streets around the is all going to gridlock. But when we drive, we just get green lights everywhere we go.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I'm taking. That was the plan. Yeah.
So we've got a specific route through it, but everybody else is having either car crashes or total gridlock.
Yep, that's my understanding of what your plan was. Yep, as I say, I'm nearly there. I just need to finish the line of sight, and we'll be there. Sorry. It won't be pretty, but it will be functional. There might be gaps around the walls, but it will suffice. That's all that matters. And I'm going to just do a bit of terrain over the. I'm going to put a bit of terrain over the. Actually, no, that really doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to put a bit of terrain over the loading bay because it looks like it looks like it's another. Actually, no, that doesn't work because then there's no way to actually load stuff into the loading bay. So I'm just going to ignore that. Okay. So it's that your plan is you're going to go. So you're going to. Well, actually, you need to do the factory the night before, don't you? And then the following day, you'll need to do the lights. Okay.
Yeah. So as soon as we know that food has gone out to be delivered, then we start monitoring because you don't really want to do the lights until you know. Also, I don't know about in your country, but and not everywhere here, but there's places here that. An ambulance with a siren is automatically going to reset the lights, so you might want to anticipate that potential.
That's why we're overriding the lights.
Okay.
You're right. I mean, technically, you could do the lights earlier, but it's just that it's a time bomb. It's going to go off, and your program's going to run when you want it.
Yeah, it was more the idea that you don't want anyone noticing.
He's good.
Okay, I am going to say that is. We are pretty much good to go at this point.
Yeah, somebody mentioned an EMP grenade if we actually got one in the inventory.
I just put Mr. Donahue over here for the sake of testing. Enable line of sight. Enable player line of sight. That's looking quite good. There's going to be I can see there's lots of gaps by the doors, but I don't really care. Okay, Beulah, Merlin, Waif, Pal is there. Now, as I say, whether you actually need to get any closer, that's up to you. But anyway, you find yourself on the perimeter at the rear side of Mrs. Miggins' food factory. You can hear the machinery whirring from inside, but that's all you can see at the moment. Which is
were we able to get anything about how many security guards they run on a shift, or?
It's an automated factory.
It's an automated factory, but during the day there is an office manager, and at night there is a small security contingent. What you got was. Or you didn't get exact numbers because that type of thing they deliberately don't put online. But obviously these companies always have like cost codes and stuff, and based on the cost code, you would deduce it's less than 5 security guards based on the cost code this company appears to be paying.
If they detect the breach, we want to sidetrack them into, not realizing that we were after contaminating the food. You want to go in with our eco-terrorist paint to cover it up as, and like smash up the office and not really pay attention, make the food look untouched, or do you want to just take a chance that
I wouldn't leave it. I wouldn't leave any record at all of it. I'd just go in and poison the food and just and the kids freak out.
No one realized we were even there.
that's the goal, but I'm going prepared in case we get disrupted by the security guards and a breach is reported.
Right, a plan B. Right, okay. See what you mean,
well, I'll just carry the paint, so that, if you encounter the security guards before we leave, we go and smash up the office, make it look like the eco-terrorist bunch was here, but if it doesn't appear that the food part was breached, it was just after something in the office, then hopefully they won't pay it, or cancel the delivery or based on unknown breach.
That looks good.
Okay.
I think I'm happy with that. Let's turn back on what the players can see.
My goal would to not be encounter any security either.
Okay. So from where you're coming in, you know that basically the loading bay basically the access is down the southern end of the building, as it were, which is why you decided to come in from the north to give yourself a better chance to get a view of the land before you get any further. Over to you guys. Again, you don't necessarily all have to be there if somebody you want to be remote or anything like that. I just popped you on the map. But if you don't want to be on the map, let me know. What I'll say is basically if I'll put you up in the corner. If you stay in the corner, you're obviously possibly remotely you're just outside the perimeter in the van. But once you move away from there, it's over to you guys.
You said that, and then I started seeing all the tokens move away, and I'm like, okay, I didn't think I was going to be the only one.
Well, Waif would generally be going inside because of number one, stealth is one of her skills.
Yeah,
and she's also able to, generally take out opposition without, gunfire. So she'd go with the inside team. The others might want to be out wandering, monitoring for alerts or alarms or anything like that. So Waif will be going in.
Okay, Waif is going in. Well, as I say, tokens are locked, but that's only just so if you move somewhere where I can stop you. But we're not in combat or anything like that, so you can move. You can move as much or as little as you want.
I'll be going in because they're going to have to deal with the computers and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. So Waif advances cautiously.
What's wrong with my powers are only D4 now? Weird.
Let's have a look. That's because
they're all unskilled.
What's your skill? To cast spells. Spellcasting spirit. Yeah. Okay. I'll show you exactly what the problem is, because this is rule set 5.4.
Yes, that we're hacking at the minute to get Pathfinder.
Yeah, because this is rule set 5.4. There were originally we did have cunning plans to sort of intelligently guess what arcane skills were based on existing settings. Unfortunately, when it went wrong, it went horribly wrong, and it was more damaging than what we've got here, which is all of your powers are wrong. So if you go to your powers tab, you see you've got an arcane background that's been labeled shaman. You were probably done. This is probably because the arcane I haven't updated Sprawlrunners to support
because it dropped down. Dropped down menu.
Yeah. So what you need to do is click on the little button next to arcane that says. Well, first things first. Is shaman the name of your arcane background? I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you have to do.
Set.
What you have to do is
change that to spellcasting.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly all you need to do.
And then it's going to pick up.
I think you'll find it spellcasting, isn't it?
Spirit. Yeah, so you've got to put spirit in brackets. Look at that. Yeah. That's fantastic.
It is.
That's lovely, that is.
It is, and you can, as I say, where it gets what's really nice is if you have more than one arcane background, when you add a new power to your when you add a new power from the powers list to your arcane background, you take the shortcut and you drop it on the arcane background it corresponds to. It will add the power to that arcane background, so you don't have to do
Aye,
it.
so you can have multiple arcane backgrounds.
So if you're in Pathfinder and you're a magic using cleric, so a wizard cleric,
Yeah.
and you want to take the bolt edge as a magic missile spell, you will drag it and drop
Yeah.
it on the wizard arcane background, and it will add it to your list of powers, because it's only one combined list of powers. As a wizard power, you take healing and you drop it on your cleric arcane background. It will be a clerical power, so you don't actually. And obviously, if it goes wrong, as you can easily go into each power, and on the drop down list, you would just pick which arcane background to use. It's very nice.
One of these crazy things of online game. It's simple to do with a bit of pen and a rubber.
Yeah.
Pencil, a piece of rubber, and a piece of paper. Dead easy.
Exactly.
You know, when they wrote the book, but I put that in the code.
Don't get me wrong. I'm very glad. I'm very glad
How
it's
do
in.
we do that?
I'm very glad it's in there, and because of it, and support, and in that supporting skills with no arcane skill rolls or anything like that is all in there. But it did mean it does mean that multiple NPCs in the bestiary have been redone 4 times to accommodate rule changes so far. But it's done now. The bestiary is finished. Hurrah! And the core rules.
Oh,
So we're just waiting on the
Well,
release date.
it's all for the It's all for the automation. It wouldn't. If you didn't want the automation, it'd be easy.
Exactly. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You don't want the automation.
Exactly.
It'd be easy.
The
You know what I mean?
the only downside, and I totally get why, the only downside about having multiple arcane backgrounds is the GM's lost the ability to see how many PowerPoints everyone's got on their portraits.
Aye, because it would click too many
yeah.
hits in the portrait.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
because if
It's
you
like
had
fill up,
if you have
get a
multiple
number.
arcade backgrounds, then who do you know which one's which? So, but what I do
Right.
like is the way you can, when you spend a penny for an arcane background to get your PowerPoints back, you drop it on the correct pool of PowerPoints, and it will update them correctly. But anyway, that's by the by. Back to the party. I need to turn off the see what the play.
I still look at the playtest notes and giggle when we had a problem with it. You know, with, I can't remember what it was. It might have been armor or something like that. And you decided that it works that way because it's ineffable.
Mm.
And that's ineffable.
Oh, it's the fact that you've got the fighter. You've got the fighter class edge, and you've been walking around in plate mail. And with a stealth roll of D8, and then you decide you want to become a rogue, and you instantly forget how to move quietly in plate mail armor.
That's right, you forget.
It's one of those crazy.
It's ineffable. Don't question it.
But at the end of exactly, it's just one of those things. Anyway, back to the game.
I can understand why Pinnacle argued that way, because they all talked about double dipping. Anyway, another subject for another day.
Indeed. It's like the fact we actually have put in all the stuff for arcane armor interference and everything into the rule set, and no one will ever use it because no one's. If you're actually casting spells, you're not going to wear armor that's going to give you a -4 on your spell casting. But anyway, off we go.
I'm sure someday and later on in the forum, why would you do it that way? Well, honest, it's a really long conversation.
Okay. So if you wish to advance, as I say, you need to get down to the southern end of the factory. That's all you need to do. I've lost a security guard.
The factory's not open air. Is it?
No. You get, as I say, the doors are. You came in from the north side because that was because obviously there's more cameras and everything. The road runs along here, down this side, as it were. So. Coming in from your side means you've got less security to evade. All you've got to do is just basically get close enough to nobble the cameras guarding the doors, and then you get inside. What I need to do is those really lovely blueprint icons. I need to turn them into an art pack so I can just add them onto maps. I forgot to do that.
Should we be able to? Is there a thing to hack into, or we have to find a terminal to do that? Right.
Well, basically, all I'm trying to say is the doors are on the southern end of the building, and you're up the northern end. So the only reason you've got to get down there is to give you a sense of suspense, and possibly I'm being really evil and hiding something scary from you.
Yeah. First thing I'm going to do is summon ally. And I'll have a little servitor cat.
I guess the stealth roll to sneak up towards the cameras to hack them.
Well, look, yes, I would say yes, because if there's got to be someone monitoring the cameras, hasn't there? So if you're moving stealthily, then yeah, it'll be whether they notice you doing it. So I like that. But as far as you know, all the cameras are down the south here. Okay, so you've just moved.
It's a cat out for a walk. I mean, at the middle of the night, and there's a cat walking past.
Okay.
That'll be a big thing to get worried about.
Don't worry about the key presses. It's just been moving a heavily automated, incredibly deadly killer robot around the other side of the map to kill you all when it sees you.
Yeah, so I was just going to have a normal, everyday little domestic cat out for a midnight stroll, just walking around the building. It's wildlife, nothing to panic about.
So you just got to imagine right at the moment you've got the really intense security music of you sneaking down the side there, Merlin hanging back at the very back there.
Leif is gonna stealth forward to try to get a peek around the corner.
Okay, well, Wave stealths forward. The first camera is The first camera is literally just above you, with a view. Hang on. Basically, with a security angle of that, because it's all about, because there's no other way in. They only have to worry about accessing. And obviously, you assume there's one the other side doing the same thing. But again, from what you ascertain, as long as if you nobble this one, you can go in. If you nobble this one, you can get in the nearest door, and you'll be outside its field of vision, as it were.
Yeah, so little spirit cat's pointing out the cameras with its tail.
Yeah, it's right there on the wall. Something nice like that.
You'd probably back that from there because you're right outside the field of view, Donovan.
I'll wire into it and start hacking the camera and hopefully their security system.
That camera panning.
It does pan, yeah, but obviously you're okay. I was just giving the idea it does move, but it's not. It's the whole level of pan is like that type thing. It's just very hard to pan it, actually.
Is there a way I can help him with that roll or no?
You certainly can, yeah, by all means. But actually, he's done it anyway, so I wouldn't worry. Yep, basically, Donahue is able to hack in, and you set up a feed. You set up a loop feed, and you do know that as long as you stay clear of the other camera's sort of area of effect, which is about there, you should be okay. Because you did say you were acquiring research, information about this place, so.
We have a door here that's outside the feed, so I'm going to check the door to see what kind of locking mechanisms and stuff it's got.
Electronics or thievery will get you through that door.
Yeah,
It's a loading bay one, so it's one of those big. You can either it's one of those big loading bay doors, but thievery will get you through the I'm not sure what you would call it. It's not a side door, but how you have a door cut into a bigger corrugated up and over wall type thing.
Yeah.
So thievery will basically get you through the human sized door. Electronics will basically let you just raise up the entire door to the loading bay completely.
A loading bay door coming open unexpectedly might alert security.
Yeah, exactly.
Inside.
So thievery is possibly your preferred option. Yeah.
Oh, right. It's going to be. I'm not very good at this. I'll give it a go if somebody wants to. If somebody wants to be ready, because
I'm ready, but I can't. I don't have either thievery or
I've got
electronics.
Aki's your thief, isn't he? I forgot Aki's your thief.
uh,
I know he isn't actually. Who was your thief? I thought you had a thief.
so if he maybe gives a wee bit of support, make sure I don't. Let's have a really good look at this before I touch it.
You'll just have to spend some bennies.
Okay.
Well, the only
Right,
thing I have that might support is like repair to be able to maybe recognize the system.
That-
and
I'll
stuff.
allow
That'll
that.
do.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I'll allow that.
Yeah, go
Might be.
support. Hold the toolkit. That'll do.
No,
Yeah, well,
And I got
or-
I said hold it, not drop it.
sorry, Don, if you tried to say something before they got loud over you.
I was gonna say you said we could use electronics.
Electronics will open the entire door though. The entire loading bay door, whereas Feeview will let you just open the side door, as it were.
Take
Okay.
that plus one. Come on.
I don't know what the correct terminology is, but you know what I mean, though, don't you? You get those huge loading bay doors that you can open and just to walk in and out of, so you don't have to open the whole thing up. But anyway, Pow Pow picks the lock and opens the loading bay door. So what you can see as Pow Pow sneaks in there, the factory is completely automated, and the conveyor belt isn't moving at the moment. But what you can see is there is a conveyor belt here that literally is obviously where it starts. The stuff gets loaded on there, and off it goes through the whole machinery area.
so then Waif would step past him and enter.
Be my guest. Did I forget? I think I forgot to put a. Did I forget to put a wall on? No, I didn't think I did.
Now we know from the layout we're likely to find this food, or
The food is going to be if it's by the time it's produced, it's literally going to be in the I forgot what it's called,
refrigerated
warehouse.
holding area.
Yeah, ready to go out. But obviously, from you basically you've come in the loading bay, so you've just got, you know what I mean, because the camera on the other side, it was deemed to be the best way to go.
Now, are these doors up on this above this platform? We'd have to go upstairs, or like this door, because we know which way we want to go.
We're probably going to need to.
Both those doors are on the same level as the loading bay ground, as it were. So you're fine.
So this is the door. Let's try, Pow Pow, come see if you can pick this one. I'll step back.
Mhm.
Because it's not her. Unless, are the internal doors secured even?
Well, you can try it, can't you? See if you can open it.
Oh, no, this door is open. Come on in.
We probably need to find a computer system so we can find out which.
That'll be
Oh,
your
we're gonna
master
have to-
controls, which will be number 14.
Well, I'm going to step through and go, okay, we got some stuff this way. How about if I take the poisons and contaminate the food and you guys do whatever you need to find computer systems?
Well, don't poison the food until we know which one's the poison.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea if you looked through the inventory.
But yeah, I'll start looking for the controls.
Well, we have the number of the apartment and the name, so I'm going to go find the food to see if they're just flat out labeled.
Okay, the security guard that's come round the corner at the top there and spotted Merlin hanging around outside trips over something, alerting Merlin that he's up there.
Nice.
And I will whisper inside, we got somebody on circuit out here.
Keep him distracted. Either get in here and get the door shut, or keep him distracted.
Can I have notice check from Pow Pow and Waif, please? Okay, Pow Pow. Interesting. Waif's targeting herself. Pow Pow and Waif, you hear a voice coming from obviously you've opened the door, so that's why you can hear it, but you can't see anyone. You hear a voice coming from the northwest going, okay, I look, you're just it's like the other time where you saw the dog, isn't it? There's no one here, but I'll check it out anyway. And you can hear footsteps coming towards you, but from somewhere up. What do you want to do with that door?
We're gonna close it briefly so that we're only gonna deal with them if they come through this door.
You close the door. You hear
Aye,
footsteps.
Merlin, I'd get inside really quickly if I was you.
If he opens the door, he's gonna get a punch in the face.
You hear footsteps going past the door. He goes underneath the conveyor belt because he goes underneath the conveyor belt, and the footsteps seem to stop.
Open the door again and peek and make sure that he's gotten out of our line of sight.
I
Okay.
think Merlin should getting off the street, got the door behind him.
So I know the warehouse is
Sorry,
to
you
my.
can't see him, can you? Hang on, security guard number 2. And obviously, I forgot you couldn't see security guard either.
Now he can't see me from where he is.
He's got his back to you at the moment, yeah. Well, he's just leaning against the wall with the conveyor belt between you and him.
But if it is, I'm gonna duck in here.
Okie dokie.
Yep, it's open. It's not secured, so I'm gonna duck around the corner into another room. Because I'm hoping this is the target room. This is, we're gonna stay near the.
Let's see how stealthily you make that move. Are you happy with a 4?
Yeah, Benny one time.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna be happy with a 4.
That didn't roll, fortunately. Basically, you hop into the door, and the security guard hears something and starts walking back.
Then I'm going. Is there like shelving and stuff in here I can duck behind? So if he opens this door,
You can hide behind those crates. Yep.
I'm gonna hide behind the crates and duck down. So if he opens the door and just gives it a cursory view, he's not gonna.
Okay. Well, that first thing he's going to stop at that door because that one's open and step inside there.
I didn't shut it behind me.
Surprise.
Minute, hang on a second, I know that guy.
Well,
Isn't he Bombay Shan who used to run with the Street Angel gang, and I used to know him growing up as a kid. Isn't he for the old neighbourhood?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Jenkins, I've told you before, there's nothing down here. He smiles as he sees you. He says, he says, that's a lucky card you had there. He turns around and says, "Pow, what are you doing in here?"
Been trying to make some bread. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
somebody wanted to open that angel cake factory, and they were looking for ideas. You know what I mean? Recipes and stuff.
Well, as long as you don't get me fired.
I'll take photographs.
As long as you don't get me fired, I didn't see anything. Watch out! There's Jenkins is on patrol outside, and you've got Smithy. Well, actually, he's indisposed at the moment. He may well be indisposed for a while longer yet. He tends to be indisposed on Saturday on Friday nights after the Thursday night poker game. So just keep it down and don't do anything that gets me fired, and I'll completely forget you were here. Listen, you better get that door shut before Jenkins gets down here. He's pointing at the door that Merlin's standing outside.
Grab
Yeah,
Merlin.
Merlin, you might get in and shut the door because
Okay, and you close the door. He goes, right, now I'm just going to go back to the security feeds and make sure you're not on any of the cameras. And he wanders off. Back to his office. Good
All
use of
right,
a
that
card.
works out well for us.
Good use of a card. Okay. Well, so basically, actually, I will give you a chance to ask him one question before he heads off to the security feed. Thinking about it, because if there's any questions you want to ask him.
Where's the computer with the?
He gives you the
Information.
directions. Basically, he explains that. Well, let me just borrow Donahue. He basically explains you go through here, you go up here, you go up those stairs, and it's through that. It's that window there. It's that room there.
Waif is going to stay in the secure area with the food because once you get that information, you can relay it to her by headset, and she can contaminate it while you guys are making your way back out.
Sorry. Also, as he
Yeah.
gives you the directions, he points out. Basically, he says you're going to be passing room number 11, which according to the map is an office, but actually it's the toilets, and that's where Donahue is not Donahue. That's Smith is recovering at the moment. So that's where you just need to be careful that he's recovering in the toilets, basically.
Okay. I'm gonna assume I can't lock him in, so I'll just sneak by that.
Yeah.
Sneak by there as I head for the room that he told me about.
Yep, no problem at all. You open that door and head on up there. Obviously, that's what you can see. There's the window, but you can see the doors around the other side. He also he definitely doesn't tell you the security codes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
I'll let you just go. Yeah, through the door and in. So that lets you into the system. So with the password, you don't even need to make a hacking roll. Just a research roll to find the information you need.
Okay. I will Benny that.
Okay. Yes, it's using some obscure reference system that they cross-referencing backwards. It's very strange. For some reason, you work out what the problem was on your first roll. It would appear that Mrs. Miggins' Food Factory is a European company and is using the European date system, not the American date system. Once you work that out, you're able to ascertain that which is the food batches for secure building number 6 tomorrow.
Actually, my question was going to be, would my investigator edge have counted for that first research?
That's a very good question. Yes, it should have done.
Can I get my Benny back?
Yes, but I'm going to give myself one for coming up with the European date system. No, only joking. There we go. It's down though. Yeah, no problem at all. So you find it no problem at all. Think about it.
I will relay that information to Waif.
And then I will go through the racks and find the 2 that need the heavy dose and then contaminate the rest after those 2
Indeed,
are.
they're basically the ones stored. Secure building 6 is stored over on this side on the late. Now you know the barcode system. You're able to locate the secure building 6, and then you are able to locate the 35th floor box. And it doesn't take you much time at all to inject all the required stuff. I'm just going to move Mr. Security Guard around the block. At which point, Merlin, you just hear him starting his another run round. So having Wave got all the stuff, now's the time to start to get out of his. You've got about 2 minutes before 5 minutes till he completes his circuit. Thinking about it, it's a big building.
So once Wave contaminates the stuff, she's going to reverse it and stealth back out the way she did. First, she's going to open the door and make sure there's
no one there. Yep. Door is open, and you can see. Yep, no problem at all. Open that door as well.
nobody there. So
No, it's all clear. It's all clear.
Well, I'll have once I'm done, I'll have alerted the others that mission complete. I'm heading out, and then I come over to this one.
What's everyone else up to? Can't walk
I
through
guess
walls.
since I got that information, I think I'm good. So I'll just head back.
Okay.
Once we're all together, we'll get the hell out of Dodge.
Yep. Who's our spellcaster?
Merlin.
I'd watch him for the interruption.
Yeah, there should be one guard still patrolling.
There
Yeah.
is, but from Merlin's calculation, he'll be at the top in about 3 minutes. So
So
if you head out this way, you can just get away from him before he catches you, because he's currently on the west side of the building. You reckon?
This looks totally clear.
so we're all in the clear so far. That went smoother than a lot of things so far.
It was. That card was
He's
inspired.
inspired.
Yep, no problem at all. You basically are all able to escape quickly and efficiently from Mrs. Biggins' food factory. Part 1 of the mission has been completed. You have contaminated the delivery.
Now we got to get back to where Donahue and Billy can monitor
Indeed.
when the ambulance is sent and be ready to move. So we're on standby from this point forward.
Okay.
Find a good spot to hack though. Traffic signs.
Now, once we get in and get the ambulance stopped, Waif can go in there and take out the driver, etc., without killing people, if that's the preference. Although I don't think it matters at this point.
And where is Wave? Oh, damn, I didn't mean to close that. Oh,
Gunfire would probably not be desirable, but because if we're in traffic, that's going to attract attention. But
I thought I had the bloody tokens. I've just bought them twice. Oh well. Just bought the same set of tokens twice. Couldn't find them just now, and as soon as I typed in what I just copied the new tokens into that I just bought, what did I find? The old ones. Typical. Oh well.
now, one option is that once you can get it slowed down or stopped, that I can take out the driver. Because didn't you say we wanted to move this ambulance before we transfer him? We don't want to leave it where we actually got him. It doesn't matter because
I was gonna spoof their. I was gonna hack it and spoof their GPS.
Yeah, I thought the plan was to spoof the GPS so that it looks like they're still going where they're supposed to be going while we just go off in some other direction.
Okay.
Is Donahue going to be? Is Bueller going to be driving the van? Okay, when is Bueller going to be driving the van, or is someone else going to be driving the van because then Bueller can control the drone, or is the drone going to be autonomous? Assuming you're going to use the drone.
I mean,
can't
we
drive.
need to use both.
Well, Waif can drive, but she's generally on the scooter.
Yeah,
but
I
it might
figured
not.
you'd be on your scooter. Yeah. I mean, the drone can control itself. I mean, obviously you can drive it as well if you want to, Bueller, but the drone can control itself. Thinking about it, so let's pop it on as its own. I'll put it on as its own entity for now.
Do I need to make a roll on that, or is it just?
No. I mean, it's obviously your drone, but it's got its own it's got its own systems that it can control itself. It's just let's make that the reconnaissance drone. That looks actually no, that looks even a reconnaissance drone. Recon drone is the size of a cat or a small dog. That's fine. Okay, that's absolutely fine. So that just means I'm just prepping stuff for when we need it. So okay, Bueller's driving that. So, okay, as I've got it at the moment, is everybody else going to be in the van with Beulah, or is other people, and other than Wave, who's going to be on a scooter, or are you planning to be on other vehicles or not be on vehicles at all at remote locations? What's your plan when it all goes down?
Guessing I'm gonna have to be on location to deal with the ambulance.
Okay, what do you want to do with your Guardian robot? To keep it with you or send it on the mission?
I think we got enough.
Okay.
We got Wave, we've got Bula, and Pow Pow.
Yep. So I'm assuming, unless you say otherwise, I'm assuming Merlin and Pow Pow are going in the van with Beulah. Is that right?
Correct.
Because Pow Pow always travels with company because I can't
That's okay.
trust
And
myself.
Donahue will basically be at a secure location, monitoring the security camera. Well, let's see how well he hacks into the municipal traffic system.
Can you get a help from me or no?
Oh, he most certainly can, because obviously this is all your planning and setup beginning with. So yes, of course, you can most certainly assist him with that. So yeah, so that's going to give an additional +1 to Donahue. Is you basically help sort of divert some routing security systems, and you possibly even you actually trigger off some deliberately bad hacking at another location, so security focus is diverted away. It's however you want to do it. In fact, yeah. But Donahue, you get a +1 bonus.
I like the running interference there.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, sounds good. Yep. Yep. With Beulah
Before I
running,
roll, is anyone else doing it before I roll?
I think the only person.
I'll try a different roll on spellcasting
How
because I can put transponders where he can't. The cat can fly.
Okay, so I see what you say. You're going to basically, you're going to have a chat with Donahue. He's going to tell you some areas where basically, if you add some sort of remote hacking device,
Jammer
it'll
remote,
make life easier.
even if it's on top of a building, he just has to give it to the pet cat, and it'll drop it off in the roof for him.
Okay, that's fine. That's another. Yeah, so basically, with Beulah running interference on your hack, and with Pow Pow sending us one of his spirits out to some data node junctions that will be helpful in your hacking, you got a +2 bonus, Donahue.
I'm thinking that in the Italian job they get that drunk guy that just goes about delivering parcels all day.
Yeah.
It's all jamming units for the hacker. just a drunken guy wandering.
Well, that's good. You basically get in without any problems at all, and I'm not even going to worry about with 2 raises. You literally sneak in smoothly past the ice thanks to the additional data feeds you were getting in, and with Beulah running interference, so you get in without any problems at all, and you basically are able to have control of the traffic system in your advantage, which basically means you can give bonuses or penalties to people in the event of the chase. In the event of the chase, you can basically, on your turn, you can either choose to help or hinder someone by controlling the traffic or any other means. That's how we'll do it. Okay. So, basically you pick up a medical alert has gone off on secure building 6 in downtown area. In the downtown area, it appears that the entire 35th floor of the building is showing signs of food poisoning due to basically some contaminated French fries in the delivered meals. However, it appears that unfortunately the cross food contamination is causing what appears to be severe allergic reactions in a Mr. and Mrs. Trenchard of room 3501. They have gold level medical insurance, and therefore they will have an ambulance is dispatched immediately without any preliminary credit checks or anything, and it's one of the high speed level ambulances which are, sort of, it's a sports vehicle type ambulance rather than your more standards type. And so everything seems to be going according to plan. ETA at the building is 5 minutes, which means everyone needs to be in position to intercept.
But we already know the route they're going back, and at the point that we're gonna set up the ambulance.
That's correct. Yeah.
Waif would be positioned on her scooter in a cross alley, because once we slow that down, she wants to take out the driver.
Absolutely fine. I'll put a paramedic on there, so that's fine. So that's okay. I just need to give him some. I need a paramedic. I need 2 more paramedics on the ambulance. Which I need 3 paramedics, but that's fine.
Actually, in theory, she could use a shuriken to disable the vehicle by flattening a tire, if she's got a good aim.
Yes.
Yeah, but shuriken aren't real good at puncturing that thick of a rubber. And there's no telling what kind of run flat tires they might have specifically for. We got to get this patient in.
Well, we got to get him slowed down enough so I can jump the running board and punch the driver and take him out.
I'm going to put on, what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to put on 2 of those, and then I'm actually going to put them on there instead. Sorry, I'm just readjusting things. Okay, that's fine, and I'm nearly there. I just need one more thing, and we are done. Yeah, I thought I'd done it the wrong way around. Let's change that to that, and then go back. Sorry, I thought I was there, but I hadn't finished everything. Yeah, there we go. And actually, I like the look of those. No, let's go with those. One of those, and we are done. Okay. Yep. So you all get a position. I'd say you're in the side alley. Dolly Hugh's ready to rock and roll. So, something went wrong there. What went wrong there? I don't know. Get rid of that because we don't need it. So we'll get the SUV van in position, like so. I will move you. Actually, I will put you forward 1 because you can be. Actually, I'll put you forward 2 because you can be bumped back up to 2 cards, can't you? In a chase. And we'll put the ambulance on as well. Make it visible. I'll put your reconnaissance drone on as well, in case you need it for any particular reason. And we'll put the scooter coming out of a side alley with Waif on it there. I think that's all we need, isn't it? So we got that enable chase mode. So basically nice, straightforward. Obviously it's not a linear chase, but in the theatre of the mind it's easier. It's easier just to have a nice little road to move along. Basically if the ambulance reaches the Joker, they've arrived at the hospital, and obviously your chance to nab has gone awry. All you need to do is get aboard the vehicle, or stop it anyway. That's as simple as it gets. So let's kick it off.
So you did manage to work a chase in here, huh?
I said I'd work a chase out somewhere because was it Bueller? Was it you, Bueller, asking how to do chases?
It was me. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's absolutely fine. I figured there'd be one anyway, but it was easy to fit one in today. So just for your purposes, just to explain, all I've done was obviously just you don't need a map. It just looks prettier. You just put a grid on an image. It can be a blank image, but usually it works a bit better. Put a grid on an image, and then from the card shoe deck, I literally just dragged out a bunch of cards onto one per grid, and then second you drag a card from the card shoe onto the deck, the option to enable a chase mode appears up the top there, which is a little running band. You click that, and now what happens is the ranges change so that if you go up and down that row, the arrow doesn't change. That makes sense. But if you go that way, it counts it. So the only thing I do need to do is go into the grid and set the distance modifier to be it's a vehicle chase 5 inches. So now each of these squares counts as 5 inches. So anything on the same row, anything on, well, actually you will all start 1 square back because the yeah, you will start 1 square back, just because it means you've got to get to it first, otherwise it's a really short chase. Anything on the same row is basically adjacent, so therefore you can, and again, logically, in real life, you're actually on the same card, but obviously in Fantasy Ground terms, the way we've done it is anything on this row is on the 9 of diamonds. But, you know, because you're meant to put the cards down, aren't you, and have the miniatures moving between the cards. So that's how we do it in Fantasy Ground. So the 9 of diamonds is that row and that rows. So if once
Gotcha.
even though even though the SUV's there, it's in the same row, if that makes sense, which means you can, and obviously means you can jump across or stuff for all intents and purposes, is what I was trying to say. So anyway, first things first, on the SUV front, I might put it 2 ahead just because I'm worried about the chase. I want to show off a chase slightly, and I don't.
Now it's 2 ahead. It's gaining on us.
Yeah, I'm going to put it 2 ahead, but move you back. Well, otherwise, it's a really short chase. There's no point in having a chase that's over in 1 round if I'm trying to show off a chase. Okay, so Beulah, you basically, anyone who's in the same vehicle all get to act on the same card. So Beulah, Pow, and Merlin, you all get to act on the 7 of clubs. Now, which order you got, your 3 of you go on the 7 of clubs really doesn't matter. But unless, of course, you want to do certain things. So, like if you're waiting for Beulah to get closer, then obviously you go after him or anything else. So, what do the 3 of you want to do?
Can I throw a Benny to try to get a better card?
You most certainly can, but you are first on the combat tracker. Oh no, the ambulance is first. I hadn't noticed that. So, yep, there you go. You get to go. Okay, however, this is where it comes in handily. So the problem you have now is you can take the Queen of Clubs, but there will be a complication. Or you can take the 7 of Spades, where there won't be a complication, but you're further down the tracker. So that's the only problem there.
Oh, no one told me about the complication before I threw the Benny. But, okay.
Oh, well, I was about to, but you threw the Benny.
That's cool.
So basically, all it means is what happens is the ambulance goes whizzing by. You're ready to intercept it, but the ambulance goes whizzing by, and just at that, it's going to be a chase. Just at that moment, the ambulance goes whizzing by, and you're ready to stop. You're ready to give chase. Right, without warning, all of a sudden, this vehicle starts reversing in front of you. Down the out of the alleyway just ahead of you from where you were waiting. So basically you need to make there's a no modifier to this one. So as the free action, you just have to make a driving check to basically put your foot down and get past the vehicle. If you fail, all that will happen is it takes you a bit long to get by, and yeah, okay, you critically fail. That's so basically what happens there is I'm not going to worry too much about the critical fail. You stall the vehicle basically because you critically fail. Trying to accelerate before this lorry reverses in front of you. You promptly stall the vehicle. By the time you get the engine started back up again, and by the time you get the vehicle, everything started up again, what actually ends up happening is the ambulance does pull away even further from you, which I would treat as basically bumping you back a square, which means I'll just have to put you half a square back, but I won't worry too much. I don't want to get the ambulance too far ahead. So the ambulance basically gets to go 2 squares ahead of you, and I'll just move. I will move Wave up a square. This is why I should have put you guys not on the very back row. So basically, but then you basically shout at the driver, get him out the way, get the engine started. But by this point, the ambulance is quite a way ahead of you. But you basically pull out onto the road and start giving chase. You can even see that Waif's already ahead of you as she's already in pursuit. What do you want to do? Now, from a chase perspective, what you can do, and I always never remember where to find it. I'd hope he made it a shortcut, but anyway. there should be a chase reference chart, which I will open up and share. Is that the one I want? Yeah, chase reference chart. So during a chase, basically, there are a number of maneuvers you can perform. So obviously board is something that you need to be on the same card for. Change position is an action or a free action, which is basically to move down the cards. You got the speed bonus, or you could just choose to drop back. Evade is basically literally moving through terrain and stuff. Flee is basically try and escape. And then force action is okay, like you force an enemy away from you, so that's like ramming someone off the road, or something along those lines. And you can actually ram as well. So from your perspective right now, because what I'd say is all you want to do right now is you want to change position. And what you can do is you can change position as a free action, which is just a driving roll, and then you can still perform another action, or you can basically dedicate yourself to your driving roll, which gives you a +2 bonus. On a success, you'll move one card. On a raise, you'll move 2 cards.
I think I'll just stay with driving at this point.
That's absolutely fine. Go for it. So make a driving check with a +2 bonus. If you critically fail, you go out of control. 6. Are you happy with a 6? Gets you to there.
Yeah, I have no bennies left, so yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes, he does.
Have you got common bond? Have you, pal?
Yeah, he has got 1 penny, hasn't he?
I've just given him 1 anyway. So,
All right, okay. I've got common bond. I've only got 2 pennies because I'm Destiny's Child as well.
Indeed. So, okay. So basically, after all that unfortunate complications, you put your foot down. You can see the ambulance just cresting the hill and going down the other side. But I'm sure there'll be no problems catching it up eventually. Pal and Merlin, sort of sitting in the back. You hear Beulah sort of accelerate and come to a juddering halt. Then you hear some sort of argument going on that you may or may not help out in getting the vehicle going again and the other vehicle out of the way. And you're now basically looking through the front of the van or out the side door. You can see the ambulance far away with the lights going in the distance. What do you want to do? Obviously, you can just assist Beulah on his next turn.
I'm looking at some ranges here, so give me just a moment.
That's exactly what I'm doing. He's doing exactly the same thing.
It's technically 15 inches because it's 3 cards.
Which means that technically he's in range of my magic missiles, so I think I'm going to try and shoot out a tire.
Okay.
I will upcast it as well.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. Beulah's van's got a +1 handling, which does give him a +1 on his driving rolls. Because anyway, however, it doesn't make any difference to the range.
You did something to making sure that it was the proper pull down, and I'm not.
Oh, sorry. Yes. What you need to do. Have you on the same problem? I think I opened this one up when we were doing the migration stuff and it didn't work. So what you need to do is open the arcane background link for Mage, and just set your. You need to set your. You need to type in spellcasting in brackets smarts as your arcane skill.
But what I was going to do was I'm actually going to cast Summon Ally triple range.
Yeah, and that fixes your arcane backgrounds.
Yep. Okay.
So it was as I say. That's what happens when we play. I used this as an alpha test, and it obviously changed it. Okay, so you spellcast a magic missile at the ambulance, which is you hit it with a raise.
Didn't give me the raise damage.
We'll take your raise damage instead. Doing 17 points of damage. Okay, the paramedic. is going to attempt to. Well, that's going to damage the vehicle. Let's see what happens there. So the driver will have to make a driving check. Which I've lost his skill. Where's his drive? There's his driving, which he does. Okay. Unfortunately, I mean, obviously, by causing damage to the vehicle, it will cause problems on the handling. The handling and everything. Unfortunately, you do basically either the tires are protected, or due to the variable nature of the chase and everything, you do hit the ambulance. However, it doesn't appear to have affected it by hitting the tire, but you have damage to the ambulance accordingly. It should affect his driving rolls.
Okay, that's it then.
Pow.
Right, I was going to try and get a drop on them by in a convoluted way. I was going to cast summon an ally at triple range and summon a swamp spirit onto the front of the vehicle who has the ability to seep, because it can basically flow where any water can. It's going to flow up the air intake into the cabin.
Okie dokie.
So you're driving along, suddenly muddy water sprays out your air vents and attacks you.
Okay.
If it works.
If it works.
Is that a success, huh? Triple.
That's success. So you're summoning a standard one, are you?
We really need to put this.
Because you can either you can summon a standard one, or you can summon a powerful one.
Well, preferably the powerful one.
This costs more power points. That's all.
That's all right. I spend the power point. Totally worth it.
Okay, so a powerful swamp spirit appears on the ambulance.
Then it's going to use its seep ability to see if it can breach the air vents. It just moves as if it's difficult terrain through, presumably, the 1 inch.
Okay, I'll just pop it on the combat tracker, and it's friendly. And there you go. One powerful swamp spirit. Okay. And the ambulance. Okay, so I'm going to have the ambulance driver attempt to change.
Because if that spirit arrives, what it's going to do is it's going to entangle the driver.
Okay. So, basically speaking, well, it arrives. So I basically put it on the same card as the ambulance. So basically, the driver attempts to accelerate away because something's happened. He fails due to the damage caused to the vehicle, and therefore he is not changing cards. That was his only action. And the swamp spirit is going to attempting to seep. Swamp spirit is only porous gap as if it were difficult ground. So basically, the swamp spirit is going to. Why doesn't he have? He just gets to entangle people, doesn't he? The swamp spirit is going to entangle the parrot. Yeah. The swamp spirit successfully entangles. I'm gonna have to.
It's not a bad day, innit? You're driving along and muddy water sprays at your air intake. You're ready to go, and then tries to strangle you.
Okay, so the swamp spirit grabs hold of the ambulance. Okay, the reconnaissance drone gets to go on its own turn. So Beulah, you get to control your reconnaissance drone because obviously it's under your control. So there's your reconnaissance drone. Interesting. It's up to you. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a flying drone or a piloting drone, but it's the same thing. So it does have, So basically, it's
It has armor. It's a recon drone. I don't think it has an attack.
No, so you might not want to. But, well, you can use it to distract other people. Like it could be used to force stuff. So you may want to get it up there. The other thing you do notice is there does appear some way ahead, coming out of a side alley up on the King of Diamonds, a hover bike has appeared, and does appear to have an Arasaki paramedic on it. But he's up ahead at the moment, so. But it's up to you. I mean, if you don't think the drone helps, you don't need it in the chase, but it's up to you.
Yeah, so he can swoop forward and distract drivers and things like that. So he's not a complete loss.
So I would make like an agility roll for
it? Well, basically, it depends. It really doesn't. Oh, I'll put my teeth back in. It depends if it's ground based or a flying drone, because it's got a driving skill and a piloting skill. So I don't mind if it flies or if it drives. So if you want it to fly,
no, it's flying. So I'll just roll the piloting.
You just do a dedicated. If it's just dedicated, it'd be a piloting with a +2 bonus. I'm completely ignoring it's on a complication right now, just because I don't need to worry. I don't want to worry about more complications this turn. So dedicated on a +2, it gets a 5. So basically, you've got your drone flying alongside you outside. Obviously, if it gets any better on, you'll be fine. Scooter, which is Waif on her scooter.
And that's just a straight up driving rule. If all I'm trying to do is catch up.
Yeah, with a +2 bonus if you're basically, that's your action, or as a free action, it's just standard driving. Wow.
Okay.
Waif basically guns it, and obviously you catch up with Waif. You're feeling quite good, Beulah, because she had quite a lead on you, especially after you had that problem with stalling it. You just catch up with her, and she just basically just rams it back and gets that scooter up onto a wheelie, and just literally it lurches forwards and basically leaves you standing in the dust. Out of another side alley appears a second Arasaka paramedic bike, but that's all they do this turn. They literally just drive onto the road. And that brings us down to Donahue, who's remotely watching all of this on security cameras and everything. Now, I know the map it looks like a straightforward map, but there's junctions and all sorts of stuff. So anything you can come up with is fair game.
Okay. I'm essentially going to try and cause confusion with the traffic. And am I aware of the hover bikes?
You can. They have shown up on the system. Gold. Basically, gold medical coverage apparently does include outriders, but they're very much for this very reason. So they're not necessarily aware of any complications going on yet, but they will be next round, if that makes sense.
Okay. I'm gonna try and have car snarls in the traffic and basically like make it harder for the ambulance to advance.
I'll tell you what, we'll have some fun. We'll do a variation of tactician. For every success and raise you get, I'm going to deal a card into a deck that you can assign to this chase. So
Okay.
So you can use it to benefit people. So the idea is you're sitting there, you'll change the lights in favour of Beulah, and obviously to hinder other vehicles, if that makes sense. I think that might be the way to go.
Yeah, and play clubs out of the ambulance.
Exactly. So
things like that.
Yeah, I think that might be a fun way to do it. It gives you get it captures the idea that you're doing lots of clever little things all over the place. So it doesn't have to be hacking, of course. It's whatever skill you want to use based on that, but I suspect it will be.
Bennying that.
No problem at all.
Ooh.
Okay, that gets you 3 cards this round. As I said, 1 card for each success and raise. Oh, there you go.
Oh, look, you got a joker.
You've got a joker.
All right, so if I hand these out, they get to act, or is that for next round?
You can hand them out now, so they will affect it. So interestingly enough, Waif and Beulah
everybody gets a penny because they pulled the joker.
So in a funny way, so basically what you need to do, what I'd say is you need to hand these cards out, You can. I will say, given that Waif and Beulah have already got Jokers, and therefore Pow Pow and Merlin do as well. You can logic. I know it doesn't make much sense, but you can give the Joker to yourself if you want to, and then you can dish them out how you want.
I think that's going to be best, is to give myself the Joker.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Or you can give it to the drone as well.
Yeah.
And then I'll give the 10 to the drone.
10 to the drone. Yep.
And if I can, I'll force the 8 onto the hover bike.
Hover bike 2. Yeah, no problem at all. Sounds good to me. I don't know why that Joker didn't vanish. So, okay, that means you all should have a crap ton of Jokers now, because there were 3 Jokers dealt out there for all intents and purposes. Okay.
I like that rule, that because Travis just makes your life miserable in hero teenagers, doesn't it? For that, the brain character has it.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah.
Now, if I don't want to try to get more than 1 square, I'm not trying to catch up to him, and then to jump from the scooter to the running board on the ambulance by the driver. What do I need to roll here?
Well, then you would make a free action driving roll to get onto the ambulance. Level with the ambulance. Obviously, if you get more cards, than you know, a better result than you need, you don't actually have to accelerate 2 cards. Because don't forget, change position allows you to move forwards or backwards up to 2 cards.
Well, I want to parallel with it and then try to make the leap from the bike to the ambulance.
Okie dokie. Therefore, you are going to have to. That will be. Well, that's a boarding action, which is on here somewhere. Board. To board, your attacker and vendor must be on the same chase card. Then it's 2 opposed maneuvering rolls. If the attack is successful, the 2 vessels are joined, and you may board the enemy aircraft, the enemy raft. So basically, once boarding action begins, command of the boarding aircraft can only attempt to change position. Okay. So basically speaking, what you need to do, I'm going to say, because you're going to have to make an athletics roll, and the driver of the ambulance who's entangled. That'll get interesting.
I must admit, I'd have waited to see if the ambulance is still going to stay on its wheels.
Well, actually, don't forget, all the tangled actually does means he can't move, so he will have a penalty on his driving roll. So he is going to, while fighting off a slime swamp monster, is going to attempt to avoid letting you aboard him. So basically, his driving roll will oppose your athletics. If it's successful, you successfully transfer across onto the ambulance. If it's unsuccessful, you realise you're not going to make it, if that makes sense, and you can try again next turn. So I assume you're happy with a 10.
Yes, I'm happy with a 10.
Okay. There's a -2 on that because he's entangled, but it didn't factor it in. So the ambulance driver fails to avoid the fact you basically come alongside with a scooter and are trying to grab onto the side of the ambulance. So you basically clamber onto the ambulance. So,
And that would be all I can do this round.
okay, so for now we shall actually put Waif there to signify she's on the ambulance. And obviously what then happens is your scooter drops out of the chase, as it were, as it goes out of control. That brings us to Donahue. Now, as I say, if you want to do a specific action to a specific thing, then obviously you can do it that way. If you want to do like we said, the generic where you get some cards for the next round, that's up to you as well. It's your call.
I'll take advantage of the Joker in multi-action.
Of course you can.
I will do the Tactician for next round, so get the cards for next round.
Yeah.
But I also want to I want to flag the hover bikes as having been stolen.
Okay, dokie, I like it.
I'm assuming that'd be like a persuasion roll.
Yeah, I think persuasion sounds reasonable. Yeah, I like that.
Can I use that to go with it?
Yes, I'm going to say that you electronically dress it up so you know exactly what to use to give you the appearance of the correct police channels.
Oh. So that's for marking that's for making the hover bikes being like sending alert to like the police that they've been stolen by rogues.
I like the sound of that. Okay, so what I'm
Gang,
going to do,
and then hacking for tactician. I'll use a Benny just because I've got so many.
well, why not? NPCs. This is getting an interesting chase now. That's one card.
Yep, I forgot to do multi-action.
That's okay.
And that'll be it.
Okay, I'm going to put. And then I need to open that up. I need to open him up. And I need to give him a new skill. And then he is there. Okay. I'm happy with that. Let's do that. Let's make things interesting and do that for fun. And we shall drop that on there. At the end of the term, we'll add that into the mix. Okay, that brings us to the SUV. So, Beulah, you've got a Joker bonus from the fact that Donahue is basically making the lights and the junctions go in your favour.
Right.
So that's a +2. You're going to get a +2 bonus from that. You're also going to get a +1 bonus from the vehicle itself because it's got very good handling. So if you want to perform another action as well, you can, and without a multi-action penalty, and you'll still get a +3 bonus on your driving. If you just want to go flat out on your driving, you'll get a +5 bonus on your driving.
Yeah, I just want to go flat out. I'm doing the driving.
No problem. Cool. So basically that's a driving check with a +5 bonus. You could just roll it and we can add it in, or you can, you know what I mean. So that's absolutely fine. I'm going to ignore the fact. I'm going to ignore the. Well, you don't need to Benny it because you can't go. The best you can get from purposes of a chase. The best you can get is an 8, if that makes sense, because you can only go 2 squares.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so and I already got it.
Yeah, exactly. The best you can get in a chase is 2 squares of movement, which is a raise. So I'll give you your Benny back because you don't need it. But you literally catch up. You are basically 30 feet behind the ambulance at this moment. Pel Pel and Merlin. Hello? Pel Pel? Merlin? Hello?
Merlin is going to multi-action and shoot 2 magic missiles at the ambulance. I think this time I am going to take the aiming penalty to specifically shoot a tire.
Okay, that sounds that's
for one of them. So what would that be? Would that be just a -2, or would that be a -4?
I suppose on a vehicle, it's small. A tire's small on a vehicle, isn't it? Because it's all relative. So we'll say -4 because you are going to get the size bonus because it's a vehicle in the first place.
Okay.
So we'll make it a -4, which even though that will come out as a -2, I don't care.
Okay, because of my adept, I get to ignore 1 point of that.
Yep. Okay, you hit. I believe. Hang on. Yeah, because obviously you're not targeting the actual vehicle, so you're not getting the size bonus. But that's fine. So you do 13 points of damage to the ambulance, which will shake it.
Specifically to a tire.
Yeah. I mean, you technically need to wound it.
Shot.
It's a good shot. It's a cold shot. Yeah, okay, good point. Let's call it a cold shot to a tire. So let's do that again. Which with a cold shot makes it 4. So that is actually still enough. That still only causes it to be shaken even with the. Hang on, that's 17. That would be a wound, so that would affect the tire. So I will treat that as what happens.
Specifically, a motor hit is what I was shooting for there to slow him down a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. So that's going to be guidance traction, the wheel cells, etc. So you reduce the handling by 1 by taking out, by damaging the tire. What actually happens is the handling of the vehicle is reduced by 1. It's the same. Basically, you're guiding the critical hit you cause upon the vehicle, if that makes sense.
Right, exactly.
He's coming up for a manoeuvre role in the club as well.
That could be really interesting.
I mean, just in case, just to point that out.
Did that help you, by the way, that link I sent
He's
you?
a bit bounded. His van's a bit rocky.
Yeah, and then before I shoot my second shot, I want to see how out of control he ends up.
Technically, you can't, can you?
I
'Cause
can't.
you technically can't act and then go on hold, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, before I take my second shot, I just want to
sorry,
see...
yeah, sorry, I see what you mean. I apologise.
Yeah, no, I'm not wanting to go on hold. I just want to see...
sorry, I forgot he has...
Is he spinning out? Or...
Yeah, no, I forgot he has to make the control check now, doesn't he?
I don't know if he wants to flip the thing, right?
Okay, he fails the out of control, and I know there's a... I thought there was a shortcut for it. Obviously there isn't, so I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Out of control.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're on a Joker, you can go at any time.
Ground vehicles, spin or skid, airplanes, flip. Okay, so everyone on board. Okay, everyone on board the ambulance is distracted till the end of turn, which does actually include Waif. But she's actually acted this turn, so it doesn't actually matter.
Okay, and then I'll take my second shot as just a general, I'm going to shoot you kind of shot.
I'm just checking something out of interest. This roll doesn't actually... Yeah, okay, just for future reference for anyone out there, including myself, if you make the ambulance distracted, then the driver will get the distraction modifier programmed in, so you can make a vehicle distracted to affect the handling rolls. I thought it would work. I just wanted to check it.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. Okay, so you hit it again with a raise.
So essentially, chaos is ensuing on that ambulance.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God! Look at that raise. Just exploding dice everywhere.
You do realize if the ambulance crashes badly enough,
Waif may end up with a broken neck. Yes, I do realize that.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was trying to say. Do you know what a Joker you go any time? Because I was going to cast protection on Waif. Fly off the top.
Well, don't forget you can. Well, actually, I mean, this is where it gets better. You both got Jokers, so you can interrupt at any time. Pow.
Oh, I'm just waiting to keep it. No. Well, anyway, what happens? Four wins.
Yeah, but no, what I'm trying to say is, because your point is you've got a Joker, which allows you to interrupt. So you can interrupt before I apply this damage and cast protection on Waif is the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, I'm going to cast protection on Waif. And Benny out of it as well. See if I can get a raise. So, is it worth one? It's worth one more Benny, because
just in range as well. That's got the raise on the protection. So that is armor +4 on Waif, yes?
Because
you got the raise.
No, I give her +6 at armor. I'm going to do it with more power. More power.
Okay.
More armor. 6 points at armor.
Okie dokie. No problem at all.
I just get this awful feeling she's about to go scudding across the tarmac.
Okay. I am going to see if
Um,
the driver can soak this
Well, funny you
damage.
should say that, because the all right, okay, so and then the swamp spirit's going to go.
Right, so the vehicle's going to take... The ambulance is destroyed. Okay, so the ambulance is bleeding out. I like that.
Right.
Okay, so you've critically hit the ambulance, which basically you hit the engine explodes. The ambulance will also go out of control. Well, that was a short... Well, yeah.
Oh man, we don't want to hurt the people inside. What the hell?
That might be the problem here.
Don't worry, have faith.
They should be secured.
Spirits are with us.
Okay, so fortunately the engine goes up, but fortunately I didn't roll snake eyes, therefore everyone in the vehicle takes D4 wounds. So that's basically the vehicle goes out, or basically the vehicle, literally the engine literally explodes, which means the vehicle will basically come to a halt with minimal effect to the passengers. Fortunately, you got away with it there. You got the one roll where literally nothing really happens. The vehicle just sort of skids to a halt. Any other result could have been interesting. Oh dear. Okay. So for all intents and purposes, with that ambulance out of action, that will basically put pay to the chase, which is a shame really, because I just added a cop car in, which would get really confusing, because obviously a gunfight in the middle of it, and the cops will basically end up getting very involved. So, okay, with the ambulance being destroyed, as it were, then we are going to have to change situations. Fortunately, Waif is unaffected by the fact that the ambulance... Waif is luckily unaffected by the fact that the ambulance... oh dear, that was the wrong thing to do.
She made a leaping pirouette off of the thing as soon as it started to spiral out of control and spatch.
Yeah, let's try that again with that one. Let's put that there. Why didn't that work? There are days where I really wonder what's going on. Game mode. So I'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. The hover bike number 2 is going to be off the map for all intents and purposes. The other hover bike is going to be off the map for all intents and purposes. Okay. The ambulance has come to a dead stop as it is nobbled. Skid out the way. It skids out the way and basically comes to a halt just before it hits anything very impressive. And the cop car may or may not come in to confuse things later on. I think that's where we are as we come out. Well, I'm going to say we're coming out of chase, as it were, into we'll come out of chase mode into a more static map. As it stands, obviously people are on vehicles, except for Waif, who's hanging on to this one for dear life, like so. Okay, Merlin, Beulah, Pow have acted. So hoverbike number 2 is going to have to basically come back down the map. It won't get on this turn. It's just going to get to there. The other hoverbike basically comes screaming down the road. Gets to a halt. The paramedic hops out, and that's all he'll do. Literally, he literally just gets there, and he'll basically be on his bike. All he's doing is driving down and then he'll get off his bike, and that's his action for this turn.
It looks like you have an incapacitate on Waif on that map. Am I just seeing that
It's
wrong?
just because Waif happens to be inside the
in-capped vehicle. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. It threw me for a second. The reconnaissance drone is right there because obviously it's going next. It can obviously do things like distract and anything it wants to. So there's your reconnaissance drone. We're back into normal movements of pace and everything. I think it's got pace 6 in flight, hasn't it? So that's if there's anything you want to do with it, Beulah, you can, of course. I think we've lost Beulah. We'll put it on.
Yeah, no. I'm just thinking. So if I'm, I want to like be using it to notice if there's any other trouble. So we've got this motorcycle. I guess I don't need to. So I can use the piloting to kind of distract this motorcycle down to the south, the closest one.
Yeah, I mean, you'll need to get closer first. So basically, yeah, it automatically flies to there, and then yeah, you could, as you say, use piloting as a test on paramedic number 3. I'll say yeah, you're basically trying to attract his attention. So that's against. Ooh, that's interesting. That got really interesting and broken fast. Let's try against his smarts. He's not been affected this round, but you might get him. Okay, the ambulance is the ambulance dies from blood loss because it was bleeding out. Okay, so
yeah, the oil and everything else is all just pouring out of the engine. Of course, it's going to die.
Exactly. Okay, so paramedic number 2 is entangled, so he's going to attempt to escape. I don't think I gave him agility because I built them really bloody athletics. I've built them really fast and I thought to give him athletics, so I'll just use agility instead. It's easier. We'll use agility to try and escape. No, he's basically entangled in there. The swamp spirit, I'll put him on the map, but he's technically still seeping through the ambulance. Okay, paramedic number 4 jumps out the back of the ambulance.
I was going to say that the swamp spirit can act, can it not?
Well, the swamp spirit's entangling the guy, so he technically can't do anything else, can he? He's grappling him.
Right. Okay.
I don't know what can the swamp spirit do. Let's have a look.
I don't know. He's not as if he's got any hands.
Exactly. He's got no hands, so he's literally just
hands.
entangling the guy. So he can entangle when people get. You know what I mean? Paramedic number 4.
What I was going to do is I'm going to cast illusion and make sure make the police arrive and for them to go, oh, the police have arrived.
Yeah, but they don't care. They've got corporate jurisdiction. But yes, of course, your swamp spirit can cast spells. Yeah, go for it. Don't forget, we worked this one out actually. Illusion doesn't move. If you actually read the description, and it especially became clear because there is an additional power to illusion in Pathfinder.
It doesn't make it, and it doesn't necessarily make any noise either.
It doesn't make any noise, and it basically
unless you pay it.
I mean, when I say it doesn't move, it does, but it is limited to movement within a medium burst template.
That's all right. We just want to confuse and confound the situation, misdirect it. You have to calculate misdirection. That's all we're looking for.
So you want to cast the illusion of a police officer? Is that what you're saying?
I can do. Okay. No need to panic. The question is, has he got a skill? He's got to roll focus, isn't he?
Oh yeah, no. You just double click on the power. It should roll focus. Yeah.
Right, but it doesn't because it's I'm not on, and he failed. But something else we never get around to do. But okay, cool.
I just need to click the plus button. Click the plus button. Then I click the ungroup from item button. And then I can. Oh, he fails anyway. I went into all that trouble.
That's right. It was relevant. It fails anyway.
Right. The two paramedics jump out. Paramedic number 4 will basically come round and actually, well, no, they've got ranged attacks. So paramedic number 4 jumps out of the ambulance and shoots at Waif. Missing 3 times. The other paramedic is going. Well, the other paramedic is going to shoot the SUV van as it's driving up. I think that's going to hit once, doing negligible damage. I think to the SUV. Yep, SUV is unharmed by that. And then the cop car is going to arrive there. Next round. You do still have that Jack of Diamonds, and obviously now you are going to have to be quite creative in what you can do, seeing as the chase is over Mr. Donovan. But I will say you can use the Jack as a tactician right now.
Okay. I will do that.
I think it's yourself or the drone, really.
No, I'll do it to myself.
Yeah. Okay, that moves you up the tracker. So, okay, on the Jokers, basically Bueller, you slam the SUV to a halt there, and you can obviously all choose to stay in it or bundle out accordingly. It's up to you. I'll put you guys actually in the van. Well, actually, when I say on the van, you'll technically be behind the van, but anyway. There we go. So, what do you want to do?
Well, I think we would stop the van and pick up the people that are in it, right? I mean, isn't that the idea?
Well, the idea was to nab the ambulance and drive off in the ambulance, which is why Waif was trying to board it, but someone decided to blow the engine up.
Well, right. So now we need to pick the people out of the ambulance, right?
Indeed.
And,
yes.
And put them in the van. So the van
Aye,
stops and.
The plan was always to use our van rather than the ambulance.
That's absolutely fine. It's not a problem. That's what, as I say, it's not a problem.
The van is rigged. It's got a cage in the back of it.
So yeah, go for it.
So do I need to roll a driving roll to stop the van? Or
no. I'm assuming you stop the van automatically. Unless you want to.
I don't think it's super wise for me to get out and attack because I want to be ready to roll, right?
Yeah,
so.
But if you want to drive the van closer, then you can move the van up to 12 inches without requiring a driving roll, according to the rules. So you can drive. No, if you drive the van, you can drive the van up to 12 inches. So you can pull up next to the ambulance if you want to, which of course means Bueller and not Bueller, you're Bueller. Merlin and Pow Pow are closer to everything else if you want to. Yep, that's fine.
Well, can I run over this guy in the red?
That will require a driving check, and I'll say they get to pose it with their athletics, but yes. Are you happy with a 7? An 8 it is. Okay, you are... he's going... Oh, a 9 it is. You're going for... Sorry, hang on. I'm going to cancel that because I couldn't see which paramedic it was. You're going for paramedic number 4. Paramedic number 4 should have jumped out of the vehicle, but that's by the by. I shall do that now before I forget because they're technically the vehicle's dead. So they will all go on their own cards next time. Paramedic number 4 gets to make an agility check. He needs to beat a 9, which he fails miserably. We're looking at collision damage or large. I'm going to say you run him over. You aren't going too fast, so we'll say we're doing that. So you basically hit him for 15 points of damage, which is more than enough to basically kill him. Actually, he will survive the encounter, but he is injured as you run him over. Pow Pow, Bueller, Merlin, and put the SUV back underneath. So that's where the 3 of you end up. This brings us to Pow Pow.
I think I'm just gonna dive at this car. In fact, not into melee range. Not in melee range. I'll dive at the car and taser the guy.
You're going to clamber out the van and try and taser paramedic number 5.
Try that.
Okay. That gets you to there. Okay, so that is a vigor roll on paramedic number 5 with -2 because you got the race.
That doesn't matter. The race doesn't matter. The race doesn't do anything. So yeah, -2.
Okay, he's stunned and goes prone as you stun him. Down he goes. Merlin.
Merlin is going to jump out, whip open the back doors of the ambulance, and start getting our targets out of the ambulance.
Righty ho. I haven't finished making them yet. Hang on a second. There's Mr. Trenchard. I'll pop him on the. He should be in the ambulance group, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. He is. I don't know what happened there. Let's put him. I'll just pop him down there. He is most certainly not hostile. Then I will duplicate Mr. Trenchard, make him into Mrs. Trenchard, and I don't think I've got an old lady token for Mrs. Trenchard. Obviously, Mrs. Trenchard.
No, maybe she's not so old.
Maybe she's not so old. Yeah, no, exactly. Hang on, that was there's Mrs. Trenchard. There's Mr. Trenchard. Let's pop them in the ambulance. And then move the ambulance so the ambulance is underneath. There we go. It's all very, very confusing. Okay. So you're grabbing Mr. Trenchard or Mrs. Trenchard?
I think I'm going to grab Mr.
Okay. Both of them are in a state of not wellness. So you grab Mr. Trenchard and you take him back with you and get him into the back of the SUV. Which is where I wish you could. I wish you can compress stuff because I have no idea how I'm going to get him into the SUV anymore. Oh, beautiful! That's how you do it. You pick up the token from the map and you can drop it. You can drag the token from the map onto the combat tracker. So that's how you get around the fact you can't compress anymore. Great. That's really useful. Okay, that's Merlin done. Mr. Trenchard is in a poor way and is not able to act at the moment because you've got such a good contact. He got you really good stuff that basically makes him docile and easy to manipulate. Waif, got this guy. Basically, from your perspective, you're hanging on to the outside of the van. You've watched the driver suddenly get covered in a pool of swamp, and then just as you were thinking about how you were going to get a hold of this vehicle and stop it, the whole engine exploded in front of you after Merlin shot at it. Then someone opened fire at you with a machine gun, which you avoided, and then an SUV van ran him over. So that's about us pretty caught up. What do you do?
So what do I have in the way of threats still up and running?
Technically speaking, you have... Hang on. Technically speaking, you do have... Just need to get it. You do have a paramedic who's currently entangled by a swamp monster at the wheel. You can see from your perspective there's a police car with 2 police officers in it staring at you from the north. There's a hover bike over here with a paramedic on it, and you can just see another hover bike over there coming down the road towards you.
Okay, and the hover bikes need to be in.
They're Arasaki paramedics, yes. Which basically means they're armed guards with medical training.
So she's gonna move over this way and take a shot at hover bike. They're bikes, right? So they're not. Are they encased if I used a shuriken or?
They're not encased. Yeah. Let me just get the. I'll just find. Hang on. Where's the? If I right click. Oh, I love that. Middle mouse button on the hover bike, and it highlights it up so I can find out which one it is. There it is. You can now actually see the driver, so you can either go for the bike or the driver.
I'm going for the driver because I don't want to use gunfire with the cops right there.
No.
So how do I target him versus?
I've targeted him for you. I figured it was easy to use the combat tracker to target rather than try and do it on the tokens. because overlapping tokens always cause fun in games. Okay, you hit him with a raise with a shuriken. Okay, you shake him.
Oh no, I'm gonna Benny that one time
Okay.
because God knows I got Bennies.
Yeah, the amount of jokers you guys have got today is ridiculous. Yep, you shake him.
Yeah, we'll leave him shaking.
Okay, you leave him shaken. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, that brings us. Actually, that's it's hoverbike, which he's not worrying about. So, why is he showing him as incapacitated? But he's not. So he's shaken. It's removed. He basically opens fire at you with his machine gun. I suspect all of those will miss because he basically is randomly firing. Okay, Donahue, you're still eye in the sky, and you've got access to all sort anything you can come up, anything within reason you can come up with, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm going to, since I've already, as far as I can tell, successfully marked the hover bikes as being,
Stolen. Yeah, the funny games you've got is, of course, the police will mark the hover bikes as stolen, but at the same time now they are seeing a something going on, and they, right in front of the cop car, Beulah just ran someone over, literally. So.
I'll try to get them. That's performance, I think, the lie, isn't it? I wanted to try and get them to like got a local discreet team picking up the VIPs
Mm-hmm.
in the ambulance. Please help protect them.
Yeah, so I think that sounds good. We'll say I do think again that's good. We're going to treat that as obviously electronic persuasion, because you've obviously got you. I'm going to say that's persuasion because it makes things more interesting. Because you're trying to send the report through the right terminology and persuade someone to call it in. So yep, okay, I'm going with that. You are able to basically convince the police officers that the player you send a report in, so the police officers recognise the player characters as acting in lawful duty, and they are stopping an abduction from people in posing as Arasaki employees when they're not. So I like that.
I let my allies know what I'm doing so that they won't do anything too obviously against that scenario.
Okay.
Fire upon the guys that are charmed.
Yeah, they're not so much charmed as he charmed the police. He's charmed the police computer
No,
system
I know,
rather than
but
the cops.
that was a 5e.
I know.
It's the same thing.
I got the reference. But I thought, yeah, he charmed the computer rather than the cops. But yeah, the analogy works
Because
beautifully.
in fact, the game, it's essentially the same thing, right? They're
Exactly.
charmed, but if something goes to break that charm, they're coming right back at
Exactly.
Us, right?
Yes.
So they're no longer friendly.
You're right on. You're actually. I totally get your analogy. It's very accurate. Okay, paramedic number 5 is lying on the floor and drooling because he is still stunned. The swamp spirit is still got. Is the other paramedic still in there, or is he gone? Looks like the other paramedic's gone, so the swamp spirit's free to act.
Yeah, I was trying to hold the guy down in case he radio. I don't mean to try to send the distress call. I thought I'd tie him up.
He appears to have...
that guy's
Oh no, he's still there. He's just not on the map. Sorry, there he is. I didn't realise he is still there. He's just not on the map, so he's still entangled. So actually, you probably are. He is still holding on to paramedic number 2, isn't he?
I don't want him to touch the radio. I'm tied up. I'm not touching the radio, pretty much.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Leave it. Yeah, you leave it trapped. He will attempt to free himself and fail miserably. The ambulance won't do anything. The ambulance is out of the fight, but I don't want to delete the token, so I'll just put it on hold because I don't want it off the map. The paramedic on hoverbike 2 arrives on the scene. He is going to have to make a multi-action to basically arrive and get off the bike and do something. So let's see what he can do with that. It took a while to land on the 6 there. So he pulls up and jumps off the bike without any problems, and he basically opens fire on Sula's van, Beulah's van, in an attempt to immobilize it. Which he does once. He hits he hits the van once with a raise. Oh dear. I think he might have hit the engine block. That could be interesting.
Is there a way to counter roll that?
You need to have, ironically, you need to have the ace edge to then basically be able to negate that. So I'm afraid just an interesting complication there. We'll see how you deal with this one.
Oh, right, okay.
He has, fortunately, you don't have to worry about going out of control or anything. He has basically immobilized your van. He's destroyed the van engine. He literally shoots it up, and the van isn't going anywhere.
But if I gave an adventure card to Bueller, he can play it because he's the driver of the van. It's a bit ropey, though.
Oh, you say you basically... yeah, it's
I'm thinking about playing better you than me.
Yeah, that sort of applies to characters, doesn't it? What you really need is technical malfunction.
You really need the malfunction.
You need the technical malfunction card to play on the guy.
Done. To stop it working.
To stop it working.
Well, I guess we're still in the cock.
Yeah, I think you are still. Yeah, that was what my line of thinking was. Yeah, I'm afraid.
Well, that escalated fast.
I'm afraid.
Well, he can't play it on Beulah to have it hit him. Can he play it on the cop car so that the guy accidentally shoots the cop car instead of the van?
I have to give it to somebody else in there because it's on your character. So whoever plays the card, it's them being affected by the damage.
The shot hits them. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
If you had malfunction, it wouldn't be a problem.
If someone was playing an intelligent van, then they could most certainly do that, I would say. But I think it's more interesting that you've lost your van, isn't it? It makes an interesting complication.
Yeah. Can Beulah play this card and stand up and say, ho, 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 they're trying to, we're all on the same side here. We're taking care of, this van has been under attack somehow and we're trying to rescue it. You don't want to shoot at us.
Basically, yes, you can play that. It will put pay to everyone shooting, but it won't stop the van being shot. That's the only issue. But it does technically, it does mean no one can perform offensive actions for 5 combat rounds. So, yep, you play that card. So that is an interesting one. Okay, at which point the police only people only take defensive actions. So the police officers are basically, not the police car, the police officers advance forwards away from their vehicle with guns pointed everywhere, saying, "Everybody stand down!" As Beulah gets out, going, "Hold up!" Basically, everyone stops to look at Beulah as he starts explaining the situation. What's your reconnaissance drone going to do?
And it's going to search for a way for us to get the clearest way for us to get out of here.
Okay. Let's have it make a notice check.
I think it finds one.
I think it does. Okay, let's see what we can do. This is getting really strange. Okay. What can we do? Oh, that would be rather fun. Okay. Sounds like we might have a way out of this. I might need to load up the vehicle. Oh, the vehicle guide is there. Sample ground vehicles. Civilian vehicles. It's interesting. I never realised the vehicle guide doesn't include things like buses. Oh well. I'll make one up. Okay, so I need a vehicle. I need to create a new vehicle. It's going to be driving. It's going to be size 4. It's going to have a handling of -2 because it's really big. We'll get it at a top speed of 80.
And so I would be able to take that vehicle coming down in this from the north, right, to load people up in it
Well, yeah, we'll just.
as part of the ruse, right? That
thing is, because you played Parley, any story you come up with is reported.
yeah, I
because
mean
you're
that
not
was it.
lying-
Like,
Yeah,
you're
you know,
exactly.
something happened. We
Aye.
need to get these people to safety. Stop shooting
Aye.
at us. You just
Well, you're
killed
not
our
lying because that's
van.
you're not lying because it says it in the computer. You just read that in the car.
Right. So, you know, we need that car and let's get the hell out of here.
Okay, what I will say is what the drone does notice that where should we put it? Oh, we'll just have some fun. What the drone notices is if I put it on the combat tracker, and then I can add it to the map, and then make it the right size, and then basically, I don't know why.
So Donahue's got their car computer to tell them a wee line I've got out, and then
Okay,
you start
so,
speaking and dovetail into that.
that looks about right size. Okay, so basically, guys, what you have is parked just south of the recon vehicle, goes up high, and what it finds is just south of you is a bus, a transport vehicle. It's just parked in a lay-by, as it were. It's obviously the driver's obviously finished a run and he's gone for his designated break, and the vehicle's just parked there. So there we go. That's what the recon vehicle sees. Or you can commandeer the cop car. It's your call. Next, I'm not actually going to worry. I'm not going to deal in terms of. I'm not going to deal in terms of cards, because unless anyone takes actions, we don't need them. I'm going to clear all cards from the deck, just for the sake of making my life easier. And
Yeah, I think in that 30 seconds of confusion, we need to get the people to the bus.
yeah, so basically what I'm going to say, at this point, Beulah's got to sort of stand around. Beulah can sort of talk and other people can act, and then Beulah will have to do the last sort of desperate gamble, as it were. But in the meantime, what does everybody else want to do? We're technically out of combat for 30 seconds because everyone's stopping and listening to Beulah. So what's the plan? You've got Mrs. Trenchard still in the back of the ambulance.
So I guess we tell them that we'll take them to the back of this bus and it's already pointed in the right direction. And let's just get the hell out of here.
Okay, the paramedics will obviously they won't take a defensive action because you're explaining everything, but they will basically be trying to argue that isn't the case. But the police have basically got it on the fact that it's all that. So okay. You get everyone on the bus. So you get Mr. Trenchard on the bus. You get Mr. Trenchard on the bus. Come on, Mr. Trenchard, on the bus you go. You get Merlin on the bus. You get Pow Pow on the bus. Beulah will obviously be the last one to get on the bus, but he'll be talking calmly and collectively to everyone about everything and how it's going. Mrs. Trenchard gets on the bus. The swamp spirit's still holding him in tow. The paramedics are there. The ambulance we don't need anymore. The SUV van is, alas, out of the equation, having taken 4 wounds. Donahue is absent because he doesn't need to be there, and I can't find Waif. Where's Waif gone?
She's way down near the bottom, but she's gone back and picked up her scooter.
You probably left it. Oh, okay, Waif's going back to pick up her scooter. Okie dokie. Where is... I will say what you use those 30 seconds to leg it down the road.
We'll tell everybody that Waif is okay to get on that scooter and that there's nothing to fear. And
yeah, Waif just, technically speaking, Waif just basically disappears. Okay, so I just take Waif's icon and drop it. I love the fact that works. That's so useful. Come on, there we go. Takes a while, but it works. Okay, and the recons. Okay, so that's all well and good. So what we shall say is, obviously at this point we have some. At this point, you get everyone on the bus, and everything's looking reassuring. You're all secure and happy, and feeling that at last everything's going your way, which is what you want, really. So that's good. And then you were expecting it, but it kicks in. Warning. Location violation. Cortex bombs activated. You have 30 minutes to reach an authorized location, and it starts looping again. Okay, Spirit, what do you do?
Go to the dock. Go to the dock.
No, I mean, I think we're headed for the dock, right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. But I was having a bit of. Okay, so, right.
Right, so yeah, Bill calmed everything down, and I'm just going to say, right, well, I'm from corporate security, so I've got to take the passengers to safety.
Okay, well, that's what.
And yes, I have the ID. I have the ID and paperwork to prove that as well.
At which point, okay, as you start driving off with Waif on the scooter catching you up, and then Donahue, what you then notice is basically an information comes through. It seems there's a report that VIPs have been abducted, and basically it countermands the order you saw from the police officers had before. And as you're driving down the road, guys, you suddenly hear blues and twos activating behind you, and we're off again. But Donahue gets to go first with his as the eye in the sky.
Okay. I will do. Well, can I apply? I guess I'll try doing the hacking. Can I apply tactician this round if I succeed?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine by me. I quite like. It seems to work quite well. I like it. Oh dear.
I'll try benning that just to see if I can get better.
That's 2.
That was a fortuitous action card to have.
It was actually. It was very. I liked it. It changed. Oops.
And the funny thing was, as I was reading, I read it in the beginning. I'm like, how the hell am I going to use this?
Right? You end up with better cards, but I'll bug it up. So, okay, so you've got an ace and a jack in the hole for the next round. Your reconnaissance drone. We'll pop the reconnaissance drone there because you can use it for interference if you so wish. So basically, your reconnaissance drone basically is able to fly backwards and stuff like that. So what it sees is you're being pursued by the 2 paramedics and the cop car. What do you want to do with, if anything, with the reconnaissance drone?
Run interference and so have it sort of fly through and do the best it can.
It's okay. Beulah, yep, Beulah is the driver of the bus. That's okay. Brilliant. So, okay, piloting. You can choose to drop back 1 or 2 squares. Obviously, if you choose to drop back 2 squares, you didn't add the +2, so it can still perform a secondary action, as far as I'm concerned, because you didn't say you were dedicating it. So you could drop back basically to this. You drop back to this card here, and therefore you can now engage, as it were, either of the 2 bikes if you want to, in any as a test. So you can either go for hover bike or hover bike 2. You can use your piloting, and you're basically trying to distract them, so your piloting will be opposed by their driving, basically.
And do I roll it a +2 or no?
Not with a +2, because the idea was the +2 would have been if you were just going all out to fly back. So what you did was you literally just had the drone drop back as a free action, which was your first piloting roll, and then your second piloting roll is a test. I will allow you to spend bennies on this roll if you want to, because you are just because you've got so many bennies, and I don't see why not. If you want to. Besides, you've got them to use, and I'm having fun. So 12. That means I assume you're happy with that. Are you interfering with hoverbike 2 or hoverbike?
The one, obviously, that's actually the one this one.
That's okay. Yeah, because obviously you're all on the same card, so the distance vertically is non-existent, if that makes sense. So hoverbike. Okay, so do you want to? Yeah. So hoverbike is down here. He gets to make a driving check. He gets a +2 handling, but I don't think that's going to be enough to Oh, he critically fails. I'm going to say basically not okay. You will shake him, which will basically cause him to have to make an out of control check. Do you want to make him distracted or vulnerable for his out of control check? Well, he's critically failed, so he's going to crash anyway. But so let's make.
I think I want him distracted.
I'm actually going to say, because he critically fails, I'm going to make him distracted and vulnerable, because that will affect what he happens to do. So he critically fails, so he literally loses control of the vehicle. So I'm just going to see what happens to it on the out of control table.
Does he take out the bike next to him?
Yeah, so see what I figured is we'll be sneaky and say you make him vulnerable, and then obviously he's distracted by that. Okay, basically, I'll roll a dice on odds. Well, actually, your call of whether you want odds or even. I'll roll a dice, and depending on your choice of odds or even, if I roll what you call, he will basically slide towards his mate, and therefore his mate will have to avoid him. So do you want to make it odds or even? Just 50-50, because it's left or right, basically. Was that odds? Okay,
Yeah, I said odds.
Sorry. Oh, I lost the dice. Let's roll the d20 instead. I'm afraid I rolled even. I'm afraid I got a 6. I appear to have lost my 20-sided dice there. It took forever to roll. So unfortunately, he does slide out the way the other way, but that's as maybe. But it was a nice obstruction there. The cop car has to have the cop car needs a driver, and that will be the police officer, who should have a driving skill, I hope. Yep. +1. The cop car comes driving up and is now parallel to everyone else, but that's all he can do. He was hoping to get a bonus so he could do stuff to waif, but he failed. Hoverbike. That is this hoverbike here. This hoverbike is going to do a free action to drive. Okay, well, he's going to actually get to 2 squares to there. But he's then the paramedic is basically alongside you, so he is just basically because he can see inside the van. He is going to take a shot, 3 shots with his machine gun as he's alongside you, aiming for the 3 of you. So he literally just sprays the whole side of the bus with bullets, which have no effect. but it shatters all the glass. Wave on your scooter.
So I only want to move up 1 square. That would just be a straight up driving, right?
Yes.
But when I do that, I want to like literally slide my scooter into hover bike 2.
That
Or
okay.
is-
So yeah. So that would be a force or a ram. There's a choice that you do get a choice. A ram obviously means you both take damage, whereas a force is you try and force them off the road.
I want to try to force them off the road.
Okay,
Oh.
which basically bumps them back a square. So yeah, maneuvers. So basically you want to change permission as a free action. So that's a straightforward driving check. Your scooter has handling of +2, by the way. So you get a +2 automatically on your driving checks with your scooter.
So that would have been a 7.
Yeah, which means you basically are on. You move up to the Queen of Diamonds as a free action. You then attempt to force a rival away from his vehicle into an obstacle. To do so, you're on the same card and you make opposed maneuvering rolls. If the attacker wins, you bump his foe. A raise is treated as a critical failure on the maneuvering table. So you will make a driving roll with a +2 bonus because you get a handling bonus on your vehicle against the hoverbike number 2. So it's basically opposed. It's opposed driving rolls. I need to deal with that targeting. That's okay. The paramedic, hoverbike number 2 has the paramedic on it, so he has to make a driving check, which he will do now. He got a 10, so I'm afraid he basically avoids you trying to ram into him. I'm afraid. Okay, that brings us to paramedic number 5. He's the stun guy. He's out the chase. Okay, that brings us to the bus. Now the bus is a bit slower and harder to steer, so there's a -2 handling on this one. But you're in the same boat, Beulah. If you want to, you could try and force. You could either basically change position and try to escape, because all you've got to do is get to. Basically, if you get to the Joker, all you need to do is get 4 squares ahead of everyone else, and you can evade, or get to the Joker. In which case, you could basically Donahue can activate a traffic jam situation, which means you could escape and get to the street dock without any problems. So you can either literally just do a flat out driving roll, which will negate the penalty of the fact you're driving a big heavy bus, or you can choose to as an action force the guy away, and then logically speaking you can still take a change positions as a free action afterwards if you want to, but that free action would be at -2. It's your call. If you're
For
talking,
who?
sorry, if you're talking, for you, Beulah, because you're driving the bus.
I was trying to drive the bus out of here, though.
Yeah, no, but the point, what I'm trying to say is you can, as a full action, just drive the bus, which means you make a straight driving roll and that's all you do. Or you can sideswipe the hover bike and then still make a driving action as a free roll, but at -2 because of the handling of the bus to try and escape anyway. So it's really, that's the point I'm trying to make is you can either make a straight driving roll and that's it, or you can try and take the hover bike out and still and still trying to escape as well, but that will be a -2 penalty.
Nah, so it's +2 if I just make a straight driving roll, right?
It's +2 if you make a
Yeah.
straight driving roll, but the bus has got a -2 handling because it's slow and chunky, if that makes sense. So that's the point. That's where the -2 is coming from. So if you just
Fair enough.
yeah, so your +2 negates the -2 of the handling is how it works. So that's all I was trying to say. So yeah, once you basically put your foot down on the bus and you move it 1 whole card ahead of everything, which is fine. That brings us to Mr. and Mrs. Trenchard, who won't do anything. That gives us to Merlin and Pow, what do you guys want to do? Obviously, if you want to do something to the hover bike before Bueller advances, I will allow you to
So
do
but see that just before he pulls away, I'm going
Yeah.
to shoot it.
because I forget you guys can do it in any order, so you guys are acting before he pulls away.
Oh, it's not going to make much difference with that.
Okay. You shoot the hover bike. Because obviously you can shoot the bike or you can shoot the driver. It's your choice. But you shoot the hover bike, causing a wound
Sure.
on the bike. So the driver has to make a driving check, which he fails. So the vehicle will go out of control. In the meantime, it just hit the chassis with no permanent effects. The driver has to make an out of control roll. He's distracted, which I do believe he. Okay, so the driver is distracted, which the easiest thing to do is actually make the bike distracted, because then, for all intents and purposes, and the driver distracted separately, because if he does something else, that's different. But you do both because that makes life easier. Merlin, same with you. If you want to act before
Merlin wants to summon a burly, tough earth elemental
Okay,
right in front of the hover bike to smash the bike.
righty ho, go for it.
I'll take that.
Okay, a burly, tough earth elemental spirits. Earth elemental, burly plus tough. That's good. Assets. Okay, so we'll pop him on the combat tracker. The only problem with him in a chase, he literally is just turns up, acts, and then of course by next turn, you know what I mean, he'll be off the map, as it were.
Yeah. I mean, we're moving way too fast. But my thing is suddenly the road in front of this bike reaches up and just smashes down on it.
I
Is what
love it.
is
I
the
really
imagery.
like it. I like the imagery. It's brilliant. There you go. There's your Earth Elemental.
Well, technically, the police car might have an issue with it.
Yes, I will say the police car may have an issue with that. So there you go. That's your burly Earth Elemental targeting the hover bike. Do you want to make the melee roll for you?
Oh, I'm trying to get it to behave for me. Hang on a second. Oh, it's not in my allies.
Okay.
That's why it's not letting me roll. So yeah, go ahead and make the attack.
No worries. Okay. Well, that was the damage. Let's see what it did first, shall we? Oh, it hit with a raise. Well, didn't make much difference on the damage. Okay, so basically, as you say, the Earth rises up in front of the Earth Elemental. In front of the Earth Elemental, the hover bike, and it smacks into the bike, causing the driver to have to make another driving check while distracted. But I think he will be okay. But the vehicle, let's see what happens to the vehicle. Okay, no, that changes everything. That changes everything. Subtract the vehicle's armor if appropriate. The vehicle, the hover bike has armor 1, and the elemental did 15 points of damage. So we transfer 14 points of damage onto the paramedic. So the bike survives, but the paramedic is flattened.
That works.
So yeah, basically the Earth Elemental hits the driver and the bike. The bike carries on for a bit, but the driver's just pancaked into the ground. Okay, the other hover bike remains shaken. Can you shake vehicle? Yeah, you can shake them, can't you? It's driving to negate it, not spirit. That's what I always forget with vehicles. So the hover bike recovers from being shaken. It's going to make a all-out driving check, which would be +2, which gets it 7. It only gets to there, and I think that's the end of that. Go. Next round. Waif on her scooter gets a joker. My God, the amount of jokers you guys have got today. Waif on your scooter.
there's basically not anything really left to.
Well, you can make a driving check to drop back a card if you so wish. Next to that other hover bike, or you can just or you can move on. Ooh, as long as you don't do that.
I got my cards to hand out first.
Oh yes, you do have your cards to hand out first. Sorry, I've lost it. What happened to it? It was an ace. Ignore the second ace, but it was an ace and a, wasn't it?
Ace and a jack.
An ace and a jack. Yeah. There we are.
Giving the ace to Merlin.
Well, it's actually the bus, but yeah, I know what you mean.
The bus. And I'll give the jack to myself just to see if I.
Yeah, I can't think of a logical reason how you give the jack to yourself, but it's more fun anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. So chases at vehicles. I can't. A critical failure for a vehicle, you must roll on the outer control table.
I forgot about the drone. I'd give it to the drone instead.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's not too late because I know you were on the 9, weren't you? So I can give it to the drone, which I can't actually see. Where is? Yeah, there you go. And then you take the 9 of hearts instead, which is absolutely fine. An out of control roll. So in a vehicle chase, if you critically fail, you make it out of control. Okay. Basically. Let me see. You basically wait for what happens there is you're basically looking around trying to work out what's going on, and you fail to see the very large pothole in the road. And I'm afraid by the time you realise it, you basically hit the pothole. It sends you sprawling over the vehicle, and basically you're barely able to keep the vehicle under control, which therefore makes you and the vehicle vulnerable for this turn. Bus. I want to check how it's.
Okay. Is there any chance that my Earth Elemental can take a swing at one of these two vehicles chasing us as they go past him?
Oh, bugger! Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said. The oncoming cocktail.
I should have just moved the Earth Elemental down the map.
Yeah.
That's my mistake. Good call. Got 5 minutes. Let's do this. I want this check. All you need to do is basically all you need to do is take it out, and then you're free and clear. Nope. Sprawlrunners. Earth Elemental. It was a burly and tough.
Really tough. Yeah.
Okay, your burly and tough Earth Elemental's back. Let's give him his token back because I really liked the token. Let's put him. He was there, wasn't he? Not that you can see him. So
He was, yes.
So if he drops back a card, that puts him on that row. Then, if we say he drops back a row each turn, so yeah, he can.
Yeah, he'll take a swipe at that bike as it goes rolling past.
Okay.
A very good swipe from the looks of it.
It looks very good, doesn't it? Until the damage roll. Let's try that again, shall we? You know, the GM's trying to wrap things up in time when he went in the GM's adding 21 damage to the hoverbike. Okay. That's. Oh, I think the driver's going to make his driving roll, alas. But if we get a good critical hit roll again where you hit the crew, no. But anyway, so he gives the bike a good smack. He then actually, for all intents and purposes, smack. It's not so much a fight, but he literally does smack into the cop car. The cop car doesn't avoid him. Just because I'm just thinking I can speed up. That's 3 wounds on the cop car. The driver of the cop car manages to keep it going. I'm impressed. Okay.
So basically what happened is the Earth Elemental comes surging up out of the ground, smashes the first bike as he comes up out of the ground, kind of bats lightly at the other bike, and he's got his back turned when the cop car comes rhyming through him, and he just scatters into dirt and dust up into the air.
Very much so. Yeah, it literally is just that's literally exactly it. There's not much left of him at all. Okay, that brings us to Pow Pow and Beulah. I assume Beulah's going to go a full.
Well, no, that was my elemental. Now it's my turn.
Merlin, Pow Pow and Beulah. I apologise.
I'm now going to magic missile the bike.
Okay, go for it. Bike or the driver?
You know what? Let's do the driver.
Because it's an open top vehicle, so you can target. Is the reason I'm asking. So you target the driver, which I've targeted for you. Why are you vulnerable? Oh no, he's vulnerable. Ignore me, I'm being stupid.
Oh, let's Benny that.
Well, don't forget, if he's shaky, he does still have to make a control roll for the vehicle he's on.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and he is vulnerable. Yeah, well, okay, we'll call that good.
So that'd be a driving check. Which he fails, but he doesn't critically fail. So the vehicle is going out of control anyway, because he lost control of it because you shook him. Okay, so the vehicle. Actually, yeah, what happens there is you cause the driver to crash, which destroys the vehicle. Because the vehicle takes a wound, which basically incapacitates the vehicle. So that's the end of the vehicle. That brings us to Pow Pow and Beulah.
I'll just take a shot at this car before he takes it off.
Okay. You take a shot at the cop car. Go for it. You shake the cop car, so the driver has to make a vehicle check.
I don't have. Nah, just hit the shaking.
So the vehicle's going out of control. Which causes another hit on the vehicle. Oh, right, well, there you go. Two cases of basically the vehicles spin out of control and crash into stuff and are out of the chase. Beulah, just for the sake of completeness, let's see how good a driving role you would have made. Just to see if you critically fail, because that would be rather amusing right now. No, you're fine. So congratulations, you will successfully as we end. Oh, he's going for the penny. He wants that extra square. -2, so no, you're fine. Actually, you're going all out, so it's a 5, which is fine. Last thing you want to do is critically fail, but anyway. You got bennies, you can keep rolling if you want. So basically, as we leave our intrepid heroes, the bus is driving frantically down the hill to the chop dock. But for all intents and purposes, I think you have successfully achieved the requirements. You will basically drop him off at the chop dock, which you paid heartily for earlier. He will basically be able to sort out Mr. and Mrs. Trenchard, and you will basically drop them off at the required location for the drop off without any incident, which makes a change because it usually goes wrong. But all in all, it was a successfully executed and planned mission, and obviously you are paid the agreed amount, and Mr. Patron's very happy with you, and congratulations, you have successfully more conviction. I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you got to realize this was amazing. Our legend is spreading far and wide at this point.
I mean, yes, you did. Let's face it. I won't deny that. I think that card is very valid there. I mean, you did successfully get someone out of under Arasaki's noses. You also managed to persuade the cops to provide protection for you at the time. I mean, yes, I agree. your street cred is going through the roof, guys. So
We deserve
congratulations.
renown for that. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that one. I certainly did. I had a blaster. And yeah. Well, you got two chases for the price of one there. I hope that helped on understanding chases. And
Yeah, it really did. I was just really curious about it in practice. So thanks.
yes. Of course, they're completely different in Pathfinder, except they won't be in Fantasy Grounds because at the moment, if you want to do chases in Pathfinder, you'll just have to break out your Suede rules. But at least that's how I'm going to do it if there's any chases, because
Oh hell, and we all got an advance, huh?
and you all got an advance. So I'm going to say thank you very much, guys, and leave you guys there. You can plan your advances now and key them in. I'll leave Fantasy Grounds up and running for that. Or if you can go away and think about it and fill it in next time. But I hope you enjoyed that. I had a blast, and I'll see you guys next week. Well, I'll have to
Thanks.
come up
We'll
with
see you.
Before you take off,
Yes.
there is a reasonable chance that I'm going to have a change in schedule
Okay,
and may have to drop out of Sunday games.
that's okay. There's basically there's from next month things are probably going to change in that regard as well. In that I will probably have to dial back the weekend games, but I'll let you know. But I suspect what's going to happen is they're going to halve, so they'll probably come to every other Sunday and once a month on the Saturdays. But unfortunately, going back to work means I actually have to go. I don't have other days to do stuff because I don't get to just finish work and go outside and do chores and stuff. So I'm afraid I'll have less free time, which means I have to dedicate more of my weekends to stuff. So times are changing, but it's been fun, and I'm not in any hurry to end the game, but I think we may have to. It may be, I think it'll be twice a month rather than once a weekly thing. But it's not set in stone yet. But let me know, and thank you for letting me know that you're going to have a schedule change. And it's real life is a pain like that. But thanks very much, guys, and see you
Thanks.
soon.
Yeah, thanks. Take
See you
care.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye now.
I'm going to think on my advance and add it next week before the game, as long as we're playing.
Oh, we're still playing next week for sure. Yeah, no problem at all. See you then.
Okay, well, meantime, I got to run, so I'll see you on Tuesday.
See you Tuesday. Bye now. Well, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that one. We shall return to Sprawlrunners next Tuesday, and Pathfinder is on. Sorry, Sprawlrunners next Sunday, Pathfinder on Tuesday.